All right, sure.
Good enough. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Shoky Nerdcast one-on-one, where I sit down one-on-one with another nerd. Usually, I'll probably be a two-on-one at some point. I don't know. It'll be a gang cast. I don't know. It's just stupid. Either way, so today we have Mr. Josh Fisher over here from
Yes,
the
we do.
All Queued Up podcast. And God, what else? What other things do you do? Because I can't even keep up with all the things you're sort of involved in.
Well, I do All Queued Up, and that publishes every other Friday. I'm also take part on Off the Runner when I can. And
Because that's how we
I'm
met.
also, yeah, that's how we met when you were on an episode of Off the Runner back in the spring. And then I'm also involved with another show that broadcasts every Friday night live at 9 p.m. ish. You know, we try to start live at 9. Sometimes we're a couple minutes late, but that's the MPSP Theater.
You can say what it is.
AKA Masterpiece Shitpiece Theater. That's on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel. I also do video game streaming on Twitch. And on there, you know, I'm a variety gamer, but I mainly focus on RPGs, and I also do like party game streams with Jackbox Games.
Which I participated in on yesterday or whatever day that was.
Saturday
afternoon.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
My weekend has been one long day.
And then I also do like I've done Gundam building, like live building on there. I've done Lego builds on there, like building the Lego Voltron. I've done miniature figure painting on there. So yeah, I stay busy with various streaming and podcasting, you know, and plus I also participate in, you know, unbroadcasted hangouts and things like that, and make appearances on other shows here recently. So yeah, I stay busy.
Yeah, like myself, you tend to have quite a bit of free time, so you got to fill it up with something.
Well, you know, I'm a stay-at-home dad. I'm a disabled stay-at-home dad. So, you know,
maybe, but you're handy capable.
Yeah, and getting more so every day.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I got a lot of free time, so I choose to fill it with things that bring me a lot of joy and entertainment. And it just so happens that, you know, there's other people out there that enjoy it too. But it's led me to learn new skills. Like I've learned audio editing and video editing this year. I couldn't have done that stuff a year ago, and I've just, you know, dove into it, and you know, had a friend give me some advice and started watching tutorials on things and picking it up, and you know, all the time trying to improve and tweak. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it, and I find it to be fulfilling.
Yeah, so. Same thing over here, obviously, and you've helped me out before, kind of when you were actually instrumental in helping develop the show before it went live, actually, because we had that long discussion that one day on how to try to record things without using Hangouts. Ironically, we're just using Hangouts now, but by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but once again, Microsoft locked down, or I should say Google locked down Hangouts, so you can't go through Firefox anymore. So therefore, I can't record the way I normally would on OBS with it.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so the one episode I did it that way was the last time it was available. So Google likes to have their stuff nice and secure, but when you need it to be just a hair insecure, or unsecured, I should say, so that you can record something like this, then, you know, it is what it is. But maybe one day I'll switch over to using Skype or something along those lines. Just for hell of it. It just depends on what is convenient for.
I don't think Skype's that good. The audio quality is usually garbage. And
True.
It makes it much more difficult to edit. Discord is a nice alternative.
Yes, we've talked about that before. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in the future, maybe it'll happen that way, because not everybody has the ability to get on Hangouts. So, and some people that I might want to interview, they may not be YouTube personalities and stuff like that. May not even have a Google account, and It's proven difficult for some people who are like, how do I work this app? How do I do all this, that, and yeah? I was like, ugh, okay, I'll find an easier way somehow. But at least for people who are used to it, like you and I, it's not that big a deal. Obviously, most of the things you probably do, at least on the YouTubes. Oops, I did not turn my sound off on my phone. Thought I did.
And I thought you were a professional. This is what I'm working with here.
Gifted amateur.
I'm an aspiring to be gifted amateur at best.
Much like my porn, I prefer it to be amateur.
All right.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Anyways, that's what editing's for. Cutting out bad jokes like that.
No, leave them in.
I know. The only thing I edit out is usually boring talk, or if there's certain things that there were things. If you guys ever get a chance to watch my Doodog review, there were some things I definitely edited out because I was talking about a certain religious personality. I decided to cut that whole section out because I didn't feel like catching any hell from that. But we can talk about it later.
Word.
Yeah, word. Bird is the word. All right, so guys, if you're unfamiliar with the format of this show, which probably everybody is because not that many people are actually watching it right now, basically it's a five question basis, or at least that's what it should be. It doesn't always go that way. Sometimes we screw up and don't have time, or we just forget to go with questions altogether. Just fine. It just ends up being a conversation. So we each get a personal question for the other person. It can go as personal as you like, or it can be as impersonal as you like. But we try to avoid things like, what's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? And I already told you ahead of time questions that have already been asked, so we can sort of avoid that. And then after that, we go into just general topics from the other person. If you want an opinion or just want to bullshit about something, just as long as that person brings it. And then at the end, it's usually questions from the audience that I've collected through comment section, stuff like that. So pretty easy. But unlike last time, I'm going to remember to do the motto at the beginning. So the motto for the Nerdcast: you don't have to be a nerd for everything, but everyone is a nerd for something. So that's the whole point, because we may not like the same things at all times, but as long as you're a nerd about it, you can definitely come on here and talk about it.
Nice.
So yes. So since we're off to a decent start here, I'll let you go first because that's usually the polite way to go. Make the guest go first, completely unprepared. So you can go first with your personal question, sir.
All right.
Right here and wait for it to happen. I'm waiting.
Well, what's something that you have experienced in your life, something that's happened to you, or something that someone has said to you that has changed how you view the world?
Ooh, that changed how I view the world. That's it. Wow. Hold on. I'm not used to non-hobby questions. I got to think now.
Yeah, dude, finally, questions.
Somebody got out of the hobby questions because I'm more than the detolfs behind me. Oh, thank God.
Exactly.
Oh, God, that's the one thing.
Our collections are plastic representations of our personalities.
Exactly,
dude. I can see the plastic.
Yes.
I want to know what makes up the meat and the connective tissue and the central nervous system, all that inside your head.
There you go. Okay, so now I got to think about the actual question. That's at some point I'll probably start. I'll do lead-ins first at one point so that people have time to prepare for the actual answers. But where's the fun in that? Thinking on the fly is a little bit more.
Yeah,
fun.
Thinking on the fly, man.
I'm trying. Okay,
something that's happened to you, or something that someone said to you that completely changed how you view the world.
Funny thing is, I'm thinking towards like TV and movie references of opinions or views that characters have had that made me go, But I'm trying to think if there's a thing there or not, or if that's going too deep into that. Or
no, I consider it valid.
No, I'm not saying it wouldn't be valid. I'm just trying to figure one that actually really kind of affected me versus things that have happened to me. Because there's been plenty of things that have happened to me in my life that have changed my view of the world. Most of them having to do with work and job experience and stuff like that. I used to have a very negative view of the world, and honestly, it hasn't changed a whole lot. Uh, just depending on my job. But I just thought about something that as a motto I used to go by, and I developed it due to a lot of rejection and stuff like that, mostly in like dating or friends or whatever. And it sounds so silly, and honestly, it sounds shallow at the same time to some degree. But I used to say, give them the worst first, because then you have nowhere to go but up.
Mm-hmm.
So when you meet somebody first, whether you're dating them or your friends or whatever, maybe not your boss, because that might have the wrong connotations. But uh, most of the time, you have the idea, and it's been instilled in you, God knows, since when you were young. You're always on your best behavior for the first time you meet somebody. So say for instance, like you and I, we tend to have somewhat filthy mouths.
Fuck, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Exactly. I don't know what the fucking shit you're talking about. You wouldn't necessarily cuss around somebody the first time you met them, regardless of what situation. But sometimes you would think to not do that. But in this other worldview that I adopted in my late teens, mind you, this is how early that I caught on to it. I was like, you used to always give them your best, show them your best up front, and well, here's the problem with that. If you're literally putting everything you can into it, and then they turn around and reject you, then that means your best isn't even good enough. And you just put in a shit ton of effort with no payoff. So the other thing is, on the flip side that I adopted was, you know what? You're going to get the bottom of the barrel, because from here, all I can do is show you how much better I can be than I am right now.
Okay.
So the other way was, you show them your best, and then you have nowhere to go but down, which means that the longer you're around somebody, odds are they're going to keep seeing the worst and worst of you when they thought that you were this thing way up here, because their first impression of you is your best fucking thing you could possibly put out there. I know it sounds ridiculous, but
no, I get it, but you obviously don't do that anymore.
Well, sure I do.
Oh, you still do.
But the way I look at it now is, I'm not like a straight up asshole to somebody. But what I don't do is I don't put on that fake front that a lot of people do, because usually when you're at your best, it's not where you're at your normal. So you're actually taking yourself to an elevated place that's not your norm. It's not even necessarily the personality you portray. So say if I stepped into a church, I'm going to put on my best church behavior. But if we get somewhere else in person in normal life, and I turn around and I start cussing, I start telling dirty jokes and all that stuff, then they really have no clue who I really am. They judged me on that first thing, and they thought, oh, look at this person who's this, that, and the other. And then I turn around and show them who I really am. And then they go, oh, I don't know if I really want to be around this person now, based on that original idea. But if they have that idea where they see who you are at any given time, not necessarily you're at your complete shittiest, where you're like, punching someone in the face the first time you meet them, and then you turn around and you suck their dick. It's another story. But
I'd at least help them off the ground
or something. Whatever. Sorry about that. Anyways, but I mean, it's a weird. I don't even know where I necessarily adopted it from, because I think it was just something I came up with on my own. I don't think I ever saw it anywhere else. But it was the idea of, you meet people, you put out this front, your best behavior, and then when you get into normal life, your best behavior is not how you are in real life. So now I meet everybody at the same level. I'll show you the same respect that I'll show a stranger, which is a different story. But you're going to get who I am off the bat, instead of somebody I'm pretending to be so that you think better of me.
Yeah.
So instead
just give them, basically present the genuine article.
Yeah.
On how you would be on an average day versus the highest standard that you can possibly present someone. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's exactly, I mean, the original saying is incredibly watered down, but the idea is that you have somewhere to go. You have a way to step it up. Especially in the dating scene, if you give them 110% right off the bat, you have to maintain minimum 95% from there on out. If you give them 60% in the beginning, then you can work your way up, and they can see where you'll actually top. If they see your top first, then they go, well, you're either going to have to step your game up to go even better, which most people really can't, if we're honest, or you give them 2/3, and then you go from there. So you can really take it up a notch. So that way you can actually surprise people, but in a good way, instead of surprising them in a negative way.
Did you ever fart in front of a girl on a first date?
Oh, fuck yeah. But not rudely, not like cocking a cheek, but well, nowadays it's like first dates were never a big thing. I know it sounds really strange. I never really went into dating, so to speak. It's just I fell into a relationship. So like all my relationships for the most part have been long term, but we never actually had the dating thing, like, okay, I'm gonna go out with you a couple times, and this sucks, whatever. There's always the interaction beforehand. There's long phone calls, whatever. Like with the current wifey, we met online, so we didn't have that interaction. We didn't have that first meetup until our first date. But we had talked for 2 months, maybe before that. So you already, and that's kind of the newer world we live in. More people meet online and establish relationships than they do in person anymore. Now, yeah, you're going to run into somebody at a bar or a store or whatever, and you'll start from there, but it turns into texting. It turns into communicating on Facebook. So you may have that first meetup, but you're going to get to know that person digitally, or at least electronically, before you meet them in person. And of course, now you can establish that by checking out their Facebook or whatever, their social media. You can see a lot more about their personality before you ever get in there. On our first date, Miss Shoky and I, it was an 8-hour long date.
Oh, wow.
So it was an hour and a half drive to go meet her in the first place. So I went to her town. So I made a count, but we met up for lunch. We both had the day off. It was July 3rd. So we were off for the 4th.
Oh, wow.
So we met up then, and we ate lunch, and then right down the street was a hobby town and a Specs, which represents both of my hobbies at the time. So gunpla building and craft beer. And so I said, hey, let me go check these out. You want to come along? And so she went with me. We went Gundam shopping. I bought the Johnny Ryden Zaku MG. And then we went next door to Specs, and I bought a few, like, I think I bought a small box worth of beer. And then we continued that because she had to go babysit her niece. And that was where the thing changed. Like, we already knew we liked each other, but it was just like, okay, do I leave now and go home, or do I tag along on her babysitting her niece, which they were going to go to the movies? So I just decided, hey, I'm going to tag along. So on that first date, I met most of her family. And then we went to go see Inside Out. And then after the movie, we went back to her sister's place and continued to hang out watching TV with the little one. So, I mean, we had a nice long date, but going into it, she knew who I was. There wasn't a whole lot of surprises. We'd already talked about it. Mind you, the YouTube thing hadn't started yet, but gunpla building, all the other things, we had already talked about that stuff. So she knew my hobbies. So getting to experience my hobbies firsthand, that sort of, gave her a bigger window into who I was. But
nice.
In the past, maybe would have not done that. Maybe would have just said, okay, we're going to go to lunch. Maybe we'll go to the movies. Though most people will say, don't go to the movies on your first date, because you don't really get a whole lot of interaction with that person, because you're paying attention to the movie and you're not really going to be able to hold conversations. So dinner, lunch, coffee, whatever, where you can actually sit down and do things and have conversation, that's a much better way to look at it. But if you've already established that, like I said, electronically already, you've already had dozens of conversations to get you started, it makes a difference now. But back in the day, dating scene was completely different. So
yeah, like when Misty and I met, it was 2005. I mean, I was online, I'd be like part of message boards and things like that, and I used like back in the day, AOL Instant Messenger and Yahoo Messenger, those ways to communicate back then.
Of course.
But for the most part, that's before smartphones. That was before, I never used dating sites or anything like that. And we lived in a very, very small town. and I was, clerking in a convenience store at the time, and she worked in an office uh, for it was a call center, and she would come across the street on her breaks, just buy a Coke and a newspaper every day just to see me for
Oh,
like a
nice.
year, and I never even knew.
It didn't
Never
click.
even knew. And then no, well, no, I was just, man, this is always busy. I didn't. Uh, she never would strike up a conversation. She'd just say hi and pay for it, and that was it. Um, and then come to find out, she lived next door to one of my best friends,
Oh, wow.
and she was finally telling him about me. He's like, I know that guy, right? It's one of my best friends. She's like, what? He's like, no, seriously, I'm gonna call him right now and tell him that you want to go out with him. And she's like, no, no, no. And he did. He's like, you can go out with this girl. I was like, well, I'll meet her, tell her to come by and I'll meet her and we'll set something up. Next day she came in and, we went to, we made plans for that Thursday or Friday whenever I was off. Just so happened, we have no idea the first day we ever met on or went out on. We just know it was sometime in the spring. It was either April or May. And like the very next day, she left to go on a trip, with her family, her sisters and mother and her son at the time, for like a week. So I'm like, okay, well, I had a great time and everything. We had a lot of fun. We just went to dinner and just riding around talking and shit like that. And, we had a great time. And we didn't fall into a relationship right away. It's a lot more casual hanging out, coming down, what have you. Uh, but it was almost a year before we actually fell into a relationship, and we've been together ever since.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's also like that's the difference between running into each other in person and stuff like that. Like I've had those kind of relationships. One thing that I experienced a lot in my 20s because I had basically a decade where I was single. Um,
hmm
in my 20s, I started trying to date, trying to get with somebody for the love of God, and most of them were a couple of them were girls from church because I was
hmm
very involved in my church at the time. One we met up because of our college age group, and we actually ended up seeing each other for pretty much a whole year, like straight. But it never went anywhere, and she wasn't seeing me as a boyfriend, which she made very clear in public several times, which always makes you feel good. Oh, we're not dating.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what have we been doing every Friday and Saturday for the last 6 months that we've been
Yeah.
hanging out? Or, there's just, oh God. Basically, I became, for actually several girls, what I call a boyfriend without benefits. Uh, and that happened to me several times. In fact, the girl I was talking to before I met Miss Shoky, uh, it ended up being that situation. She had gotten out of a relationship, and at first she didn't know what she wanted, so she's like, okay, cool, I'll go with this guy. So we went like and did everything else. We went to the rodeo a couple times, um, and I spent a lot of money on her. And then she made it clear that she's like, oh, I don't actually want to be with anybody right now. It's like, oh, well, thanks for letting me know that in the middle of my nephew's wedding.
Oh, Jesus.
That was out of town, and I had to rent a hotel room for us and everything. So yeah, that was fun. That was a fun way to find out that
This is why communication is so important. And as men, we are very bad at reading signals too, by nature, and by default. And a lot of women, when we say, "Hey, I'm feeling this," I think she's into me, but they're just really overtly friendly or something.
well,
It's hard to read in those situations, but man, something like that happening, finding out at a wedding after you spent money, that would suck.
yeah, dude, I can't even tell you how pissed and sad I was at the same time because not only did we like, I didn't really want. I kind of avoided her the rest of the wedding and just hung out with my family and she just sort of sat over to the side and I didn't really talk to her much. Not only that, I didn't say a word to her at all for the 2.5 hour drive home.
Mm.
So the next morning, after we checked out and everything, I didn't say a word to her at all the entire drive back until I dropped her off. I was so pissed.
I can't imagine how that would be awkward at all.
No, but she didn't care. Well, I mean, it had already become awkward because on the way there, she let me know that she had just started her period. And so I knew, obviously, well, this wasn't going to go where I thought it might. You know, it's like, well, now it sucks that I went ahead and rented that single bed room. But like in the middle of, like, we left the wedding, and then like everybody went back to my nephew's house, and then I guess my brother's house. And like in the middle of it, I'm like, we went back to the hotel, and I'm just laying there. She was already asleep, and I'm just like, fuck it, I should just leave and go hang out with them, even though it's like 35 minutes away. I should just go and then like maybe come back in the morning if she's lucky. Just fucking, but that
at
bitch.
Least you didn't leave her stranded.
No, but I really wanted to, but I decided to be a better person than that. But at that point, that was the last time. That was the last time I would ever, or I told myself, I'm not being a boyfriend without benefits ever again. Because basically, what she told me to my face, I really just kind of want a gay best friend. I was like, well, I'm not gay, and I'm not interested in being just your friend, so this probably isn't going to work. So, I mean, it is what it is. But that's one of the reasons why I say it's like, okay, if I showed them everything up front, then if I show them the best I can be up front, then they could take advantage of that, or maybe even get depressed by that later on. But if I show them medium grade, maybe not the bottom of the bullshit, but medium grade, then I have somewhere to change their opinion of me in a positive light. But
what you're saying is you don't come out with perfect grade. You come out with like an ungraded 1/100 and work up to master grade, real grade, perfect grade, huh?
Well, it's either that or I'm coming out with the old 90s wing kits.
Ooh, God, those are terrible.
Exactly. But you can make it shine.
True.
But, yeah. So what it is like they expect it's kind of like what happened with the Gundam, I almost said Atlas, not Atlas, Tristan, where everybody thought it was going to be something new and awesome, but instead it was something old and less, so people judged it the wrong way at first. So instead, I look at it as, look how good it is for what it is, instead of hating it for what it couldn't be.
Yeah.
So this way, I'd rather show them what the reality is that they're going to get into, and then I can build on top of that.
Okay.
I can always be a worse person. But, if I start at my lowest norm, then I can always show them what it's like to be on my good side, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if it's a case like with okay, the first time I was in there for Off the Runner, when I first popped in and Tyler added me in, you guys had no idea who the hell I was. It's like, and I heard you guys talking and everything like that, and then I jumped in immediately, throwing the same shit back at you guys that you were throwing out. And I was like, I'm not gonna fucking sit here and play around and be nice with strangers. I'm gonna fucking jump right in.
Exactly. And that's the thing. We bust balls.
Yeah.
And it's fun, but we're not doing it in hurtful or harmful ways. It's just like
trying not to, anyways.
Yeah, trying not to anyway. If I've ever thrown jabs at somebody, joking around, it's never with the intention to hurt.
No, and that's the key. Is like the intent matters a lot more, and that's something that isn't always looked at nowadays. As we've seen with certain firings of people from their celebrity status, intent doesn't always matter.
Yeah.
If you work for the Disney company. Anyway, have you actually heard Roseanne's actual explanation for her tweet?
Which one?
The one that got her fired.
No, I mean, which explanation?
Oh,
at first she said it was because of Ambien, and then
no, not why she tweeted, but her actual intent behind the tweet.
No.
Okay, you go watch Joe Rogan's podcast where he interviews her. That was 2 weeks ago, and she breaks it down. Like, Ambien was the cause of her tweeting. It wasn't the reason she tweeted what she did. It was the cause that she did it in the first place. But there was no racial intent at all. The problem is that it was an unfinished thought that she had planned on coming back in the morning and actually breaking down. The problem was the fire was already over before she woke up. So she had a completely different intent than was taken. And also the fact that she did not know that Valerie Jarrett was at least part black. She had no idea. So, I mean, I'm not going to go into it now, but the idea is, and she was actually never allowed to speak her piece. Like, she went to the network and said, look, let me go on all your talk shows and talk about this and explain my meaning. And they said, no, sign this bottom line and then we'll let you talk. And then they didn't even let her talk.
Yeah.
So they did her wrong. And they did her so wrong. She currently has a gag order that she cannot talk about certain things that happened to her in this firing until however much time has passed. Like the stuff that she talked about on Joe Rogan was the stuff she was allowed to say, but there's a lot of other things she was not allowed to disclose. And she said, I'll have to talk to my lawyers before I can say anything about that because I have a gag order. So
wow.
Either way, yeah, they really, really did her wrong, to be totally honest. And she was betrayed by her entire cast that she thought was her friends and family for the most part. But everybody else just stood up for their own job and let her hang. But that's it. That's the end of that. But it's the idea that intent should matter more than content.
Yeah, and when things are taken out of context, they can be made to sound a lot worse than they are.
Oh yeah, of course.
But in this day and age, especially if you are a personality of any sort on a platform where any eyes see you, you know, it's reactions are immediate. And
yeah, there's no delay anymore. There's no waiting for a newspaper or an Inquirer to come out to say that you said something. It's literally 15 seconds after you said it, boom. It's being
somebody
retweeted.
Screenshotted it, saved it, and it's archived now. It's permanent, you know, and all you can do is, you know, attempt to explain yourself in the moment, and gather, recollect, and just move on. And people are going to deal with it as, you know, however they choose to process it with.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, but you've got to, it's just like with all the outrage and the butt hurt, everybody is outraged about something at all hours of the day.
Yep.
It's like you wake up and it's like, God, I'm afraid to look at fucking Twitter. I'm afraid to look at, you know, the headlines of the news. Just scroll through and you see all this. I was just like, oh, which is kind of why I stick to my hobbies and try to avoid all the other negative bullshit.
Yeah, but you know the old saying, if you got your head buried in the sand, you'll never see the bullets coming for your ass.
That's true. But for a fat man, I got the world's smallest ass for a fat man. So
now I've seen pretty small asses on fat men because it's where you actually wear your pant size actually around your hips. It keeps your bottom small, but the rest of you expands above your belt line. I kind of have that similar problem here. But my dad and I both wear our pants the same. It sounds so funny. We both wear our pants around our hips instead of on our bellies, because if it's at your belly, then it can drop down into your pants, and that's how you end up with that thing that rolls down and covers your dick if you're that kind of fat man or woman or non-gendered personality.
The
gunt. Thank you. That's one way to put it. Or fupa, as it used to be called, I believe.
Yeah.
I think, isn't that the PC version?
Yeah. That's the PC version. But come on, gunt's just fun to say.
Gunt is fun, but I don't like explaining it to people.
Yeah.
Plus, it is definitely ruder by any means, especially if you have somebody who might be sensitive about it, and then you flat out call it a gunt, and then you're not getting laid that night, and then you're not getting laid. So don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Still fun to say though.
Yeah, you get to take it home and try out the stranger. The kids nowadays know about the stranger.
I don't know if they do or not.
I don't want to explain it to them, but look it up, kids.
Urban Dictionary is your friend today.
God, would that actually be on Urban Dictionary? I mean, I would assume it is, but remember when when that wasn't a thing that you could actually go look up? You actually had to know. You actually had to know street vernacular. It wasn't just, hold on, I gotta go look this up.
Yeah.
It's like TV and
And
movies is
then
how you found out
it's
new shit like
either
that.
you just know or assumed you knew or risked asking somebody and then felt like a dumbass after it was explained to you.
Was it uh was it Varsity Blues? Where did that actually come from? I know it was a movie,
What?
The Stranger.
They actually mentioned it in Varsity Blues, yeah.
That's what I thought. I could have sworn when they
Scott
talked
Kahn's
about it.
character was talking about it.
Yeah, that's because he was
Tweeter.
talking about different things. Yeah, Tweaker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Tweaker, Tweeter.
Tweeter.
Okay, so he was a tweeter before Twitter was a thing. Bad joke. Where's my rim shot? Even the drum won't go for that joke. All right, my turn.
All right.
So, for those who don't know, Josh a few months ago got very, very ill and actually lost his right leg. I brought it up on my channel before. This is gonna be a layered question to get you where you got to go. So if I stumble on this, you'll see where I'm going though.
Yeah.
All right. So, given what you've been through in the last few months, maybe like a good, what was it, about 6 months now since it was gone?
Five months.
Okay, I was just estimating. So about half the year you've been dealing with this, and life has basically been kind of a bit of emotional roller coaster since then. You had your ups and your downs. So even though you've handled it incredibly well, probably way more than a lot of people have. I know you are a music fan just by looking at your Facebook page. So spell out the last few months' emotional roller coaster in 3 or 4 of your favorite songs.
That's a good one, man.
Give me the artist and the song, and then maybe I can play a little clip in here whenever we get there. I'll give you some time to think.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I like your. I was just going through it. I liked your. I liked a lot of your music selections on your Facebook.
Yeah.
I was going to limit it. I was going to put it straight up for Slipknot. Like, give me 4 Slipknot songs that represent emotionally what you've been through.
Yeah.
But I think that's a little too narrow. Unless you want to do it that way.
No. I mean, my top favorite bands of all time are Korn and Slipknot.
That's a good way to go.
Closely followed by like Tool and bands of that nature. But those are always my go-tos.
In the somewhere between the new and the heavy metal area.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you want to go between Korn and Slipknot, like specifically, that's fine because at least I have reference there. But yeah, give me like from the moment you were sick, and then finding out you're going to lose your leg to, going through the news of surgery, recovery, the realm throwing, getting a Kickstarter together for you to getting your new leg a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so I'll give you a few more minutes. I'll give you a few minutes, obviously, to figure out a good way to spell it out if you need to, because you have your favorites, as we all do.
Yeah. I mean, dude, honestly, I almost died.
Yeah.
We didn't know I was going to survive the weekend or not. So immediately, what comes to mind is "All Hope Is Gone" by Slipknot.
All right, that makes sense.
That's the initial gut reaction.
Hold on, let me write these things down as you go. So I can input them later.
It was just like, fuck, I don't know what I didn't know how to process this. And it was very, very fast in my head. But that initial, like, you're going to... A quick backstory, I had a staph infection. I was septic. I had a flesh-eating bacteria in a wound. And
necrotizing fasciitis?
Necrotizing fasciitis.
I like that word.
That is exactly it. Those things. And in just a handful of days, it ravaged me so bad it almost killed me. I thought I had the flu. but it almost killed me. And they said, we're going to have to cut this part of your leg off or you're going to die. So initially, the Gut Punch Reaction, All Hope Is Gone by Slipknot. That would be the first song to hit. Um, and then I processed it and I said, let's do this. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm going to survive the weekend, but this is my best chance. And got through the surgery and found out it's going to be okay. But it absolutely sucked what I was going through right now. And then the song that comes immediately to mind now is from the Spawn soundtrack. Marilyn Manson, Long Hard Road Out of Hell.
I think I know that one. Yeah. That's from the Spawn movie soundtrack.
Yep. And then, I just all of a sudden, all the Tyler, he does stasis locking off the runner. Nobody had heard from me in almost a week. He hit me up. He hit Misty up on Wednesday. She had her phone. We hadn't told a soul what was going on. I went in on the Thursday morning, and here it is Wednesday morning, 6 days later.
Yeah, you had told us that you were going in for surgery and they were going to take your leg, and then we didn't hear anything from you.
No, I didn't tell anybody that until.
Oh, I thought you told us something. Well, you told us you were going to the hospital. That's right. You said you were going to the hospital. Yeah.
I was like, I'm really sick, and you guys knew I had been sick off and on a lot for about a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to the hospital. I'll let you guys know what's happening as soon as I find something out. And then I was like radio silent for 6 days.
Yeah, we were worried about you.
He hit Misty up, and it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and she's like, Tyler wants to know what's going on. What do I tell him? I said, tell him the truth. Tell him exactly what happened. And it wasn't 10 minutes later, he's like, start a GoFundMe. Would you guys start a GoFundMe? And it was, she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, GoFundMe. Okay. He says the ROC wants to help. He talked to, people, the higher ups in the ROC. He talked to Dustin Pinkerton and, told everybody what was going on. And they got all the guys in the Cool Table Network. They started talking and they're like, yeah, we'll help. Tell them to start a GoFundMe. So we did. And, we didn't know what to set as an amount because we had no idea what my medical bills were going to be. I mean, I've got insurance, but we had no idea what my medical bills were going to be. And, another song that comes to mind right before this happened is Alone I Break by Korn.
I know that one.
Yeah. But then all the ROC, they rallied together. We set a GoFundMe. We like, let's just put $2,500 down. I doubt we'll get that, but that would help and it will contribute towards the medical bills. This is on Wednesday morning. In less than 6 hours, they had raised like over $1,000.
Oh yeah, it was fast.
And all of a sudden, I was just like, "Oh my God, I can't believe all these people I had never met, people I had never spoken to, but knew who I was because of my interactions on the board and because I've gone on, you know, some of them were aware that I've done all queued up. Some of them had seen me participate in the chats on Enter the Realm on Monday nights and Breaking the Mold on Tuesday nights. They see me interacting with the chats and just interacting on the Facebook page. It's just people started reaching out and the support just grew and grew. And, Bobby Skullface called us in the hospital. He hit up Misty and he's like, I need his PayPal. I need your phone number. Can you please get me these as soon as possible? And we gave him my PayPal address and the phone number. And not even 30 seconds later, the phone was ringing and it was Bobby, and he spoke to Misty. And then he talked to me. And he's like, look, he said, we're going to take care of you. He's like, everybody wants to help. Everybody thinks the world of you. You've got friends. You got family here at the cool table. And if you need anything, let us know. Well, we know you've already gotten a lot from the GoFundMe, but we are taking up donations from the respective cool table shows ourselves to give you a little bit more directly via PayPal, so GoFundMe doesn't get those funds.
Yeah, because that
And
money they get fees. Yeah.
yeah, they kicked in that too as a private donation to my PayPal. All said and done in 48 hours between the Cool Table Network donation and the GoFundMe that the Realm and friends and family saw it too. They raised like $3,500 in 48 hours.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing feeling, and all of a sudden I go from those songs that I mentioned to all of a sudden it's Korn's Got the Lie, right? It's just bam. Uh, doesn't matter, everything's just, because holy shit, I got this new lease, got all this support behind me, these people that actually give a shit, and to me, it wasn't ever about the financial aspect of it at all. It's just like, these are complete strangers, a lot of them complete strangers that gave enough of a shit, you know, that could afford, and even, some of them, I'm sure, maybe were in a tight spot and gave anyway. Just that kind of support, seeing it just made me feel so elated, and it's really helped to keep me positive. And the entire time, ever since then, I've not had a bad day. I've not felt bad. I've not been down. And 3 weeks ago tomorrow, I got my prosthetic leg.
Oh yeah.
And now the song that immediately comes to mind is Blind by Korn, the intro of it.
Oh yeah. I know that part.
Yeah, because you followed me on Twitch the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my follow alert. Are you ready? Bang. It's like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm kicking the fucking doors in, and I'm kicking ass, and I'm not taking any names. And it's all because of the support, that I've gotten from everybody else. It's just fueled me. It's kept me positive, and it's just like I've been riding a high ever since then. I just, man, it's that first night I came home from the hospital. They're like, "Oh, you really need to stay long term." I was like, "No, I don't want to be in here long term. I'm not built to stay in this place. I can't. I don't have the mental faculties to deal with this. I need to get home. I need to be in my own element where I can be in communication with people that I associate with, my friends, my loved ones. Let me heal at home, and then when I'm physically ready for the rehab, once the healing is over, I'll come back and do the rehab. But I'm not staying in here the entire time." So that first night, it was tough. It was tough, and I was like, "Did I make a mistake?" But Bobby, he said to me on the phone, he's like, "I've got a saying that I want you to think of, and I've been using it. 4 words: relax, recoup, recover, re-up." That and another saying, improvise, adapt, and overcome. Those have been the two things that have been fueling me ever since. And the support from everybody and just everybody reaching out and checking in. It's been so humbling and overwhelming and amazing. And my goal is like, I'll never be able to repay everybody for what they've done, but they don't realize how much their contribution, however big or small, helped us. Because Misty, right before this happened, she used to work for Toys R Us. She worked from home.
Yeah.
Toys R Us fired her on her day off and then shut down. We learned about it in an email 30 minutes after they shut down their website completely. She worked on their online support. Um, And then they shut down their webpage.
Yeah.
And we find out 30 minutes later in an email that she had lost her job. So the funds that they raised, she was getting unemployment, but the funds that they raised, they helped pay for my medications. I had to have an $800 worth. Was my copay. I had to pay $791.73, something like that. I know it was $791 and change. That was my copay for my antibiotics that I had to have to come home because I had to go home with a PICC line in my left arm. It's a catheter that runs in between. They insert it in between your bicep and tricep on your inner arm into your main artery of your arm, and it runs the length of your arm to your heart. It's 48 centimeters long. I had to have an IV drip of antibiotics every 6 hours on the hour. Cost me almost $800. The realm got me home. Everybody's contributions, that got me home. That allowed me to come home and heal and get better. It's kept me positive. And it got us through the summer. Those contributions got us through the summer. You know, she's working again now. She's got a good job now. But, you know, it allowed her to focus on helping me to learn how to adapt to not having 2 feet anymore, not being able to just get up and walk around, having to learn how to do all this stuff around the house, just everyday living. You know, there was a lot that she had to do for me, and, you know, she's been amazing through all this, and never once has she complained, not one time, you know, and as a result, you know, it helps keep me positive. Never once have I really complained. I've not viewed it as a bad thing. Life-changing, yes. Unfortunate, yes. I guess. Of course, the running joke is my luck. I'm the luckiest person alive since this happened because of all the raffles and such I have won since.
Yeah. That's the other thing I was going to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, I've won like 28 Transformers with a retail value of $890 or $868 since May 31st, which is insane.
I will say there is at least a couple times I've heard you complain in all these months, and it was just that you couldn't reach the coffee machine yourself from your little scoot around you had.
Well, I'm in a wheelchair.
In the wheelchair.
I can wheel over to it and make coffee, no problem. I just take it for granted getting up from your PC and walking over to your coffee station and getting it. You know, that's one thing, you know, you take something like that for granted because it's something you've done all your life. Having to relearn to do it all over again, it sucks, but it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing in the world, you know. My life's not over. It's just different now.
If you don't mind, can I share the video of you taking your first new steps?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not a problem at all.
I just want to make sure I get that in here.
It's not a problem at all, man. Yeah.
So people can see that moment where you literally rise up from the ashes of your previous leg.
Yeah. That was a great feeling, you know.
I was gonna say, do you have a song just specifically for that? I know you've got the blind intro for the one thing, but like just that moment where you finally got to get up and literally stand on your own 2 feet again.
Let's see.
Which, by the way, I have a couple song suggestions whenever you're done, just for the fun of it.
Okay.
I'll let you think. Need something triumphant.
Freak on a leash, man. Because they did take a part of me.
Oh,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm pushing through it. You know, and it's just like the things I have done in rehab. At the rapid rate of progression they said was unreal. They've never seen people do what I have done as quickly as I have done it, and they called me a freak. They really did.
Yeah. Well, apparently, even before your leg was really that infected, it was holding you back. Because as soon as it was gone, you made superhuman progress. It's like
pretty much.
It's so strange. Like, I mean, you told us like you were like months ahead of your recovery, and you were doing exercises before they even got a therapist in your home and things like
Yeah.
that. And they're just like, holy shit, man. They're like, it's like, well, you don't really need me that much more. It's like you're already where you need to be in 2 months, so I don't even know what the hell I'm here for, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that you're actually up and actually on your new metal shaft, uh,
Yeah. It's. I mean, my strength and my endurance is still not where it needs to be.
yeah,
For any significant type of distance, I still need the wheelchair.
yeah, it makes
But
sense.
like walking around the house and everything, like I can actually get up, walk unassisted over to the coffee pot now and back.
Well, that's
If I want to
important.
go
God damn
from
it.
it is. But if I need to go to the restroom or something, I can actually use the walker, make it to the restroom, and use that instead of a bedside commode. You know.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, those are terrible.
Yeah,
AKA shitting in a bucket. I mean, come on.
yeah, yeah. If I ever get there, I'll just be like, let's just set my bed up in the bathroom, make my life easy. Because it's like
Yeah.
it's either I can set the couch in the bathroom or I can bring the bathroom to the couch. I think I'd rather have the couch in the bathroom.
I don't know,
That's just
man.
because you could put a rail up to get your ass from the toilet to the couch in the bathroom
Yeah.
real easy. Just put a love seat in the tub and just shortchange it right there. You're good to go. Okay, so I had a couple of interim songs
Okay.
having to do with at least some of the things that we've experienced from our end that you've gone through. So after you found out your leg was infected and like basically they chopped it off the next day, I'm thinking not necessarily your emotional state, but your thoughts on the subject, knowing that literally your leg was infected and killing you, and then it was gone and dead. I'm thinking Snuff from Slipknot. Just
That
for that
was
moment.
that one actually did come to mind.
Yeah, because that's a phenomenal song. But
Yeah,
as a passing song of things of basically killing themselves. So it has been removed and gone now, and now you just think back on it. But then also after that, once you finally got your bandages off, or not really finally, but once you had your bandages off and got to look at your leg, I'm thinking Meat Sandwich from Guar.
Oh God, yeah, because me and Tyler Simpson said it looked like a meat panini.
Meat panini, yeah.
When it was sutured together, yeah.
That was just the closest thing I could find. I literally, while you were talking, I'm like, is there? I know meat panini is not a thing. Is there a meat sandwich? Of course, it's Guar.
Mm-hmm.
So just for a silly little thing, thing.
Absolutely fitting.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny because I got to find the humor in everything, or else
Oh, dude, I
die a sad death. Yeah, the fact when you showed us that picture in Off the Runner, actually, I think it was post Off the Runner. No, it was in the middle of it. It was your first real Off the Runner back after everything, and you sent the pictures in the chat, or at least to me and Tyler. I was like, holy shit, it really does look like a meat panini.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. It's like but like the way you were explaining it, we thought we were gonna get pictures of your leg all nasty and infected, like pre getting cut off, and we're like, and then we get just the stump, and we're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. I don't know why he would send us pictures of his pustuled leg.
Oh, I didn't have any pictures of that shit. Oh, God.
No, that's when you have before and after. It's like, thanks, Oprah. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's yeah, because I wanted to find a way to talk about what happened to you, but without just the straight story. And I was looking at your music selection. I was like, you know what? We're going to go deep on this. Like, let's find the songs that emotionally convey what you went through. That's
good, man. I like that.
Yeah, I don't always come up with deep questions like that, but when I do, they matter. Well, that was a good one. Now I have to avoid as many So I guess let's see. What's the copyright link? Like only a few seconds of a song.
15 seconds.
15. Okay, so I'll keep it at about 12. Try to keep the best songs. Oh, by the way, when you mentioned the blind intro, I wanted to do a mashup years and years ago of the blind intro overlaid with Down with the Sickness.
Oh, okay.
Because the ooh wah perfectly fits in the gaps of the guitar on the blind intro.
I got you.
So I wanted to actually combine those two. But yeah, that's actually pretty good. I'm gonna have to look up that Long Road to Out of Hell. I think I know that song. Did Manson cover that, or is it his? own song? Because I
I
know I've
think it
heard
was
that
his
song
own.
before. Okay, I'll have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure I know it. But that's a nice deep track there on the Spawn soundtrack.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, but Snuff is one of my favorite Slipknot songs. So I had to find a way to get it in there. And just
Absolutely. I
thinking of the
love it.
context of it, dude. I watched his. Every now and then I get on music video black holes, and
Mm-hmm.
I went off on Corey Taylor acoustic stuff and his. I think it was live in his live set in London, the live version of Snuff. Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
he barely got through it.
I know.
But I love when he covers other songs. It's hilarious. He's so good at covering Bon Jovi. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he is.
It's
He's
like
great.
he could fill in. Like his voice could totally fill in for Bon Jovi. So that'd be a lot of fun. It's like just go out there and do that because he's such a gifted musician and singer. And
Mm-hmm.
I think because people only look at it as Slipknot, they're the devil music. Like go listen to the non super heavy stuff and listen to him really sing.
Yeah.
It's like it's a different story than you think, and he's a storyteller
Yeah, he is.
on top of
Absolutely.
everything else. Him and Aaron from Stained, uh, they both love storytelling and just pulling out an acoustic guitar and
Dude,
having a
that
jam
first
session.
Stained album, Dysfunction, was so fucking heavy.
Oh yeah, the first one is totally different from everything else.
And I loved the first one. And then they came out with Break the Cycle, and it was
They did,
eh.
and they broke the cycle. But
And
it's
then they came out with shit after that, and I was like, nope, nope, nope,
the
nope.
I wasn't a huge fan of the later Stained albums, like as an album, but there were the standouts uh, for me. When it's when Aaron and that's good songwriting is when you really convey your emotions of the shit you're going through your song rather than just making a hit,
Mm-hmm.
which is what all top 40 is. Uh,
Yep.
but that's when you get a good storyteller, good songwriter, and you could see if the progression by the time you got to Stain 5 or V, uh, he was out of that dark place and he was writing happy music. And I was like, holy shit, like his life has gotten so much better. Justin from Blue October does the same thing. You know, you could see when he was in his deep depression and all his drugs and alcohol, and then he comes out of that and was going through a bunch of shitty relationship stuff. And then his life turned around. He got clean. His family started building up, and now he's all happy music. And he's just one of those people that can actually convey that properly
Mm-hmm.
uh, through the songwriting. And like, I don't get to talk music enough with people. That's why, like, you know, I don't mind it. I want to have my cousin on because he's a producer at this point. He went to school to be a producer. Um, he's just trying to find a job within the industry that he can do. But he got into a lot of those things, and he actually did technically record an album for somebody and actually put it out, but I don't think he could get any credit on it because he was a student at the time.
Oh man.
So it's pretty good. But he loves music. He actually works at the Mitchell Pavilion here as security and has done so for like, I don't know, 12 years. So, and he's always at the pit. So he gets to be right there for all the bands,
Oh god,
you know.
that's so awesome.
Yeah. Jacoby from Stained in the middle of one of the songs reached down and started rubbing on his bald head. And he has a picture of it. Somebody took a picture of it. Or no, it was a video. He found a video online and somebody got that. It is like, yeah, that's Jacoby rubbing my head in the middle of his set.
I mean, I'd show everybody that.
Yeah, he did. But you know, I got lots of different musical fans and stuff like that. Plus, I like stuff like some people, you know, it's like not being hipster about it, but you know, things that most people don't know out of the mainstream. It's like if you get off the radio, you can find a whole lot of good shit out there.
Yes.
I've gotten into very like deep acapella groups in the last year or so. Started with Pentatonics and then worked my way around to Home Free, which is one of my favorite groups, period, if you've never heard of them. They're
I
a
have
country,
not.
they're a quote unquote country a cappella group.
Oh.
But dude, they don't do only country, but they put country inflection on a lot of things they do.
Oh
But
no.
no, in a good way.
I don't know if there is such a good way, at least for my
Shut up, there is.
musical tastes.
Okay, so just giving you an example, like, they don't do anything heavy, obviously, because you can't really replicate a lot of those sounds. But they've got a couple of freaks of nature in there. They've got their bass guy has a 5-octave range.
Wow.
So he can go pretty much to the top of one and to the bottom of the other. And that's the same range as Mariah Carey, if you're wondering. So Mariah Carey has a 5-octave range. This guy has a 5-octave range. He can go down into the lowest bass notes possible out of a human rib cage, and he does it seamlessly, like just boom, he hits you with a bass. If you want to hear just a good example of that, pull up Home Free Ring of Fire. So they cover, Ring of Fire. Everybody
Johnny
probably
Cash.
should. Yeah. So they cover that song, but with their own twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just let you be surprised by what happens at the end.
Okay.
Like, if you can, pull it up right now on YouTube's. If you can do
Right
that
now?
without, if you can. I don't know if you can or not.
I don't know if I should risk it. I don't want to. I've had Hangouts crash on me before, and I'm trying.
Oh,
to
that's true.
Stuff, and I don't
Because they could. Yeah, because you need to hear it through your headset. It's like you have to have a good headset or a good stereo to do it. I mean, pull it up with the lowest quality, so you don't have to have that problem. But
I will, though. I promise I'll pull it.
Yeah, write it down, because just that one alone will show you some scary shit, and that's actually what put them on the map. They were on the Sing Off, the Sing Off 3, and they won.
I don't know what that is.
It's an acapella American Idol.
Oh, okay.
So, and I didn't know that, but Pentatonics had been on there before that, and they're basically like the biggest world famous acapella group there is. But now one of their key singers left last year to go do his own thing because he kind of got tired of being typecast. That probably just me speaking out of my ass. So he was their bass guy / beatboxer, but he was so much more gifted than that. So he went out to strike out a solo career, and he almost doesn't do any bass work anymore. Like, so he can use the rest of his vocal range and his songwriting and ability to play instruments. But in Home Free, they have their actual beatbox guy. Sometimes you look at him and go, how the hell are you making that noise? Like, he does a perfect imitation of a harmonica without a harmonica.
Huh.
Let's see what I'm drawing a blank on the song right now. It's a Man of Constant Sorrow.
Okay, I'm familiar with the tune.
Okay, so if you know that song, they covered it, but with kind of a southern, not necessarily country, but southern gig to it. So it starts out with a mouth harp sound.
A jaw harp?
Yeah, a jaw harp. But there's no jaw harp. The dude's just making the noise.
Huh.
And then if
I'm a big fan of that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, yeah.
By the way.
Okay, so they actually shoot it in the style of their music video. They shoot in the style of the movie.
Oh, okay.
But they just picked up a new guy within the last year who's kind of in the baritone, but he can hit the bass, so he can fill in where the other bass guy doesn't have to. So he can use his full range to sing, and they have a backup bass now. So the sound is so ridiculously full. Even if you're not into all the music, like, just if you scroll through their playlists on their Facebook or not on their YouTube, you can see like they kind of run the gamut of different types of music for the most part. Like at My Funeral, I want their version of God. I'm drawing a blank. God, of course I know these things until I have to say them out loud. Give me a second. It's a Christmassy song, but it's a thing here. Hold on. But yeah, their version of Man of Constant Sorrow is great. Actually, if you watch the live version, they do way more harmonica. They do a harmonica duet where they actually harmonize 2 non-existing harmonicas.
Huh.
Yeah. And actually, their cover of Castle on the Hill from Ed Sheeran is actually pretty good. Just their style of it. Oh, How Great Thou Art. The old classic, church song, How Great Thou Art. I want that played in my funeral because it is so fucking good. It sounds like there's an organ playing behind them, but it's not. It's them harmonizing. There's no instrument. They're doing it all with their vocal cords or their mouths or whatever. It's fucking insane. It is incredibly impressive, and that's why I love them. It's not that, I mean, I am a country music fan, but I like all musics. I like all genres. But
Well, I'm not going to hold that against you, dude.
hey, I love all the things over there on the metal side too.
See, I've never been able to get into country music at all. As and it's all my mom would listen to when we were kids growing up. It's like if we went anywhere, she would not let us listen to anything. She played her country music, and I'm just like, oh god, this shit is like ear rape to me. I hated it so much. And even now, I've given it a chance and I can't stand the shit. It's just not for me.
No, I get
But
it.
I don't fault anybody for liking it, because people are going to enjoy what they enjoy.
What about Southern rock?
Not a fan.
Okay, I'm gauging your things,
Not a
but
fan. Like Credence and Skinner, shit like that. A lot of people loved it around here, especially when I was growing up. I
yeah.
was just not a fan.
What is it? There's a quote unquote Southern metal band, I think, or a country metal band that's out. I can't remember their names. It's Ghost of something. But they're it's like they're along those lines, but they have that country root. But I like fusion music as well. Something like Nightwish, which is orchestra and metal music, kind of.
Yeah, stuff like that I can get into.
Or baby metal on the other side.
No, I can't do baby metal.
Oh,
I cannot do baby
I
metal.
love baby metal. It's so much fun though. It might not be the
Mm.
greatest music on the planet, but it's a lot of fun. It's better than some hip hop.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I was a big fan of rap and hip hop growing up too.
Modern
Uh,
hip hop, I should say.
yeah, modern is terrible.
Yes.
Most of it. And
Mumble
now
rap.
I know there is good stuff out there.
Hey, we're not all the same, and that's fine.
Yeah, but
You have to be open. You have to be open to experiencing something new rather than shutting it down based off an old stereotype you may not like.
exactly.
So you need to
You
go check
know,
out Home Free for that reason, and whether you like them or not, or just appreciate their skills because they are
now I could.
incredibly
And that's the
skilled.
thing. I may not care for the sound, but I do give credit where credit is due when it comes to talent. So yes, I will check it out and judge it on the talent aspect,
Yeah,
not the style aspect.
but that's why I said start with Ring of Fire because it gives you an idea of what they can do,
Hmm.
and then go to places with Man of Constant Sorrow since you already know that song.
Yeah,
Uh,
and those are two songs that I don't mind because one, I mean, come on, Johnny fucking Cash.
Johnny fucking Cash. Hurt. Their cover of Hurt is still one of the best things I've ever heard in my life. Or his
You
cover, I
know,
should say.
I like his version of Hurt better than Reznor's version of Hurt.
Oh, so do I.
And I love Nine Inch Nails.
I want to
But
hear Trent Reznor cover Johnny Cash's version.
oh, like all slowed down
Yeah, the
and
slowed down
doing it. Yeah.
tempo. Actually, that whole last
Hmm.
Johnny Cash album was really good. A lot of people probably never listened to it.
It really was. I never bought it, but I did download most of it because he did some good shit on that.
Yeah, he did. Uh,
Actually, one of my friends, because where I live in southwestern Virginia, um, Johnny Cash's family used to perform a lot at this place called Carter Fold in Tennessee, and it's only a little over an hour from here.
mhm.
And one of my friends is a videographer, and he actually filmed Johnny Cash's final musical performance about a
Really?
month before he died. Yep.
Well, that's kind of depressing. It's cool, but depressing at the same time.
Yeah.
But
But
just now I want to go back and listen to that album again. It's got to be in my CD collection, which is in the wife's trunk.
what was it? The
So
Man Comes Around, Volume
yeah,
Four, or something
when the
like
man
that.
comes around, yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
actually a decent song, in and of its own right. Like Hurt is like number 7 or 8, like way down in the album. It almost has a oh, what is it? When the album has like a theme, like it just starts at 1 and then goes like tells a story. I can't remember what it's called. Method. It's like a Method album. No, not
Yeah,
Method. Yeah, but
I
either
get
way,
what you're saying though.
yeah.
It was not a genre
No, no,
album
no.
at all.
It told it almost was like the story of his life, kind of.
Man, I'll tell you a great album that is set up and progresses. It is Stabbing Westward's Darkest Days.
Okay.
There's 16 tracks and it's broken up into 4 acts. And it's basically the 4 acts of dealing with a breakup, is how it
Nice.
cycles through. And the first 4 songs are really dark, and then the next 4 are really angry, and then the next 4 are just like it's amazing. You've got to check that album out. They were an industrial metal band out of I think Michigan.
I am aware of Stabbing Westward.
Oh, okay. Yeah, check them out, man. That album is one of my. If it's just like I've asked people this question before, if you had to spend your life alone on a desert island and you only had 5 albums to take with you, that's the only music you could ever listen to for the rest of your life, what would your top 5 albums be? And that one is actually one of my top 5.
I could see that.
It's that good. It's that good.
I think I'd probably have to have Metallica S&M in there.
Oh, that's a beautiful one.
Both discs.
Well, it counts as one release. That's
yeah. But if people were going to be picky about it, but that was one that, with the exception of a couple songs, I could listen to just on repeat,
nonstop, almost start to finish. Yes, and that is a beautiful album.
I know this wasn't an actual legit question we're going through, but hey, it's still a fun topic to talk about.
Yeah.
There's one. I think it was. I got big into Taproot back in like 2002 or.
Dude, I loved Taproot. Yeah.
Was the album called Hello, or Poet? Gift. Was it Gift? Was that
Gift,
like?
I'm pretty sure.
It had like the bluish cover with like a.
I'll look it up right fast.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the album, but that thing didn't leave my CD player for 3 weeks. Let me look at that, because Poem was the name of that, or was that the name of the song? Hold on, no, that's the name of the song.
That was their single, but their album, was The Gift, and it had the hands on the cover.
No. I think it.
Oh
no, I think it actually was Poem. Was the album the one that has a window and you can see the blinds and stuff? But I know which one you're talking about. But no, the actual album was Poem. Yeah, because that's
Poem was the first single off of that song.
Oh, then why is it only coming up with that? Give me a second. But no, it doesn't have a hand on it. It has it's got blinds. I gotta look. Okay, so it's only pulling up the video, but now I want to know because I'm trying to remember. Okay, hold on. Taproot band. Bring up the discography. Make my life easy. Welcome. I know it was a single word. Welcome. Okay.
Oh,
Gift was the one after Welcome, or before.
All right.
Sorry, it's in the wrong order on IMDb. But
that was their first single. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Welcome did not leave my CD player for 3 weeks. Like, I bought other albums, but I kept going back to that one. I just could not quit listening to it.
Nice.
And I've heard other Taproot along the way, but then there's some albums like by most people don't know the band Raw.
Oh my God, their song Sky is one of my favorite songs ever.
That is an amazing one. Their Black Hole album is where they lost me.
Yeah,
the 2 before that were good, but I could listen to those on repeat. Their cover of Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic is fun. It's so much fun. I saw them live at a BuzzFest here, and that's how I found out who they were. They only had one single on the radio in our area ever, but I got to see them live, and I was like, I'm buying their damn albums until I can't stand them anymore.
Dude, I tell you, a great band that is underrated as fuck, and I loved. And you've probably heard of them because you live in Texas, and they were based out of Dallas.
Okay.
The Deaf Pedestrians.
Never heard of them.
Really?
Never heard of them.
Dude.
The Deaf Pedestrians.
Deaf Pedestrians. You don't have to put the.
Gotcha.
they're a little bit of fusion, kind of a fusion band themselves. They take elements of punk and alternative hard rock metal, and they actually have a little bit of a country music and southern rock influence in their sound too.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
But
I'm just looking at their page here, and one of the dudes looks like Chad Kroger from
yeah,
Nickelback.
but
Yeah, they're out
he's
of
a hell of a
Dallas.
lot
Yeah.
cooler than. Yeah, they're out of Dallas, man.
Okay. Odds are my nephew probably knows. He lives up around that area, and he's a huge music head.
Dude, just their song, their one album and Other Distractions is a very,
oops.
very, very good one.
You,
But their first one from 2005, I can listen to that one all goddamn day.
have you ever heard of Element 80?
Yes.
Okay, I love their. I guess it was their only album. I think they only ever put out the one album, or at least one mainstream album, I should say, and they're out of San Antonio, if I remember correctly. And I had I say I had a chance. I heard on the radio I was closing one Sunday night at Domino's, and I heard that they were playing in some bar in Houston, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm here, and I would love to see them live," because they had some amazing music. And turns out that bar was like an hour and a half away, so it really wasn't close. So I pretended like I could have made it down there. But they would often play if you're listening late night on Sundays, they would have the heavier stuff, or they would have the Texas Buzz, is what they called it. So they would play only Texas bands for like an hour.
Nice.
And that's how I found out a lot of those like that. And then sometimes they would do the later stuff where they would play like really heavy stuff around like 1 a.m. They don't do that anymore, unfortunately. But no, a lot of people have never heard of Element 80, and they were so good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, let's quote unquote take a break.
Okay. Yeah, because I can keep talking music all goddamn day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That can be. I want to do a whole music nerdcast. Go into just topics.
All right.
Or we'll just roll the music topic in there and not bother, or we can go into just whatever you want to bring up.
Oh man, I'm wide open.
Yeah. So if you just have a question you want my opinion on, we can go there. Whatever it might be about, it doesn't even have to be. Usually that's where we get into nerd topics usually. But I mean, we were nerding out hard on music there, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, we were. But I mean, I'm
happens.
really pumped. I'm really pumped about my trip coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up TFCon when I ask you things.
Okay.
When I get to your question, but like I said, again, always get to go first.
Okay. God, I'm trying to think of a topic question because I just really had the personal question lined up.
Which that was a good one, mind you. So I'm impressed because, well, I mean, you do this a lot more than some of the people I've talked to so far. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like you are a podcaster. You're used to it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a serious question. It could be whatever, as long as we can talk about it. That's why I avoid favorites questions, because those are easy.
Well, you know what? We can do some video game talk.
I can do video games, sir.
All right. Well, this weekend I streamed the new Jackbox Party Pack 5 game. I actually streamed it on the Wednesday night when it dropped and on Saturday. And I was like, I saw you posted on Facebook, my work day's done. I don't know what I want to do for the next few hours. Like, dude, come hang out and play with us. And you got your first exposure to those kind of games.
Yeah. Well, at least in playing. I've seen them played.
Yeah. But you actually got to play along. And we had a lot of fun with that shit.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, I know there was a little bit of a delay. And unfortunately, until I get a better processor in my PC, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But, so you play video games. What's your favorite type or favorite style of video game to play? I know that's typically, we try to tend to stay away from, your favorite things in the hobby and everything. But, when it comes to video games, most people tend to stick to one or two styles of games instead of branching out and playing all over.
Yeah, a lot of people find their niche and they dig
Mm-hmm.
in, which is that's well, hell, that's everybody with anything. But for myself personally, and you as well, just from what I've experienced in talking to you and hearing you talk with others, you're a much more broad range nerd in the things you do and collect and everything else like that, just like me.
Absolutely.
And gaming is no different. Talked briefly with Matt about it when we talked briefly about Halo, because that
Yeah.
was my deep jam. Actually, I cut out some of the stuff we were talking about because over here I have off to my left, I've got my 3 collector's edition Halo Xboxes,
Mm.
um, and all associated paraphernalia to go with them. But those are just these. This is just Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo 4. But in the living room, I've got my Halo 5 Xbox One. Um, but then, of course, I said one of the things that I would have to save if my house was on fire. Spoilers for you because you didn't get that far in the interview yet. I would have to save my Halo 3 Legendary Master Chief helmet
Oh, nice.
because it's fucking Master Chief. You gotta take him with you. Um,
Yeah.
but shooters were my big thing for a while, or at least Halo was. But I got into playing Borderlands because of my old roommate, and that was fun to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But playing with people who are so much more advanced than you can't even keep up in the game. Like
Yeah.
they're literally their skill level is so much higher that they're running way faster than you that you can't even get to them by the time the mission is over, and you've just been running trying to catch up the whole time. Uh, it was a lot of fun. Uh, I love racing games. As long as they're built well, there have been some very badly built racing games, especially
Oh,
in
yeah.
the late PS2, early Xbox days. There were some they're franchise games, but the development sucked. Um, but still, to this day, one of my favorite racing games ever was Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. I mentioned that when I was talking to Matt. Um, that one, you're literally racing the streets of, or rather, the highways of Tokyo. They actually mapped out the highway system in Tokyo by district, and
Mm-hmm.
you would race and you would find other cars on the road who would be marked by a little tag or whatever, where they show up on your radar, and you would have to roll up on them, flash your lights, and then that would initiate the race. Wasn't a drag
Oh,
race; it was a long distance through traffic
road race.
road race,
Yeah.
and that shit was. I can't even tell you how many weeks and weeks of playing that was because there were hundreds of people to race in that game.
Oh,
So
man.
you would have
That
factions.
sounds fun.
Yeah, you would have gangs that you would have to race everybody in the gang to get to their boss. And then of course that was the hard one. And of course down the line, you save up, you buy better cars, you start out with bullshit like an Eclipse or something like that, and then work your way up to the fucking Speed Kings Skyline R34,
Mm.
which was a fully decked out like Pikes Peak style uh, Skyline,
Mm-hmm.
which could go, and it had to, I think it was miles per hour, but it could have been kilometers because you could go about 250 miles per hour or whatever that actually was on the
Yeah,
screen.
it's probably kilometers.
I don't know because I mean it was literally a blur, so it may have been miles per
Hmm.
hour because at the time the
True.
McLaren F1 was the fastest car in the world, and its top speed was 254. So they wouldn't give you a car that would go faster than the fastest car in the world, even though it wasn't in the game. Uh,
Yeah.
but that was the mark. But the cool thing is that game, before Gran Turismo and a lot of other games really came up that allowed you to play with it, you could tune all the aspects of the car. You could tune your boost gauges. You could tune your suspension settings. You could tune your gear ratios for each individual gear of your transmission, and then your
Mm-hmm.
actual differential, because that would change your speed level. And that's how we got the car to go 250 fucking miles per hour because we
Yeah.
had to do it. And me and my best friend at the time, we were competing at the game. You couldn't play against someone. There wasn't a 2-player option, but he had it and I had it. And we were both seeing who we could do it. There's an aspect to the game. Once you've beaten the Speed King, you just have to beat the rest of I think they were called Wanderers. Uh, is it Wanderers or something like that? They're basically loners. They weren't part of a gang or anything, but they were high-end racers. And you could find them on the road randomly, or they would roll up on you when you're just cruising around, because you could cruise around for 20 minutes and not run into anybody. You'd just be on the freeways. There's an aspect to the game that some of them to complete the game, you have to beat everybody, right? And you can
Mm-hmm.
see the ones that you hadn't beat. There was about 15 or so that I had never gotten to race because they're wanderers. The thing is, certain ones wouldn't race you because you were so much higher a level than them. And level wasn't by experience, it was by reputation.
Okay.
So, depending on your reputation, on your racing style, how fast you beat people, and things like that, and it was all given to you in your name, your nickname up at the top. If you had it to a certain description, these guys wouldn't race you because they knew that you were better than them. So what you would have to do is get a shittier car and start losing races to bring it down to the point that they would race you.
Oh, wow.
This was in 2002. And then the next one that came out, Tokyo Extreme 3.
Was that like an Xbox exclusive
That was a
title?
PlayStation. It was PlayStation 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, most people didn't.
I was a big Gran Turismo player.
I was too. I played GT2 for forever. I got so far in it.
2 and 3 I played like crazy.
I had not gotten into, like, Forza wasn't really a thing yet, but I liked Forza when it came out later on the Xbox. That was a lot of fun, a lot of course, mix of racing. Need for Speed Underground is still one of the best things that's ever been invented, because it captured some of that same aspect that Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero is. But you could have drifting, you could have drag racing, you would have street racing, all the things like that. And also the same friend, we both had that game, but of course, at that point, you just bring your save card with you, you plug it into the PlayStation, and now you can race each other with each other's cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you played the first Underground, not the second one, because they changed up a whole lot of shit in the second one, there was a super long drag race track. It was like on a highway. It had to have been more than like a mile. It was a very long distance race. And we found the fastest car we could use, which was an S2000 that we had tweaked, and we were literally trimming tenths of a second, like trying to find, not even tenths, hundredths of a second, to see who would win race wise. And we weren't racing against each other. We were just using the same car to see who would have the better time.
Yeah.
And we had it to the point, like, the rest of the guys racing didn't even matter. We were beating them by 20 seconds. But it came down to the gearing, and it came down to when you used the nitrous. Because in that one, you just had the NOS button, and you just timed it out whenever you wanted to use it. And we're talking about using it in first gear, not off the line, but at least within, however many revs, directly off the line, and banging it through every single gear to make sure that you were getting your maximum amount of speed and your time down. Because one thing you would do, you just get to 6th gear and you just hold the NOS down, but then your time wouldn't be shit, but you would go 70, 80 miles an hour faster. You know how racing goes.
Yeah.
And he never beat me. He never beat my best time ever. But like for the longest time, of course, around the Fast and the Furious movies, that's when racing games really got even bigger than they were. Especially when it was Underground stuff where you could really customize your car. And between that and Underground 2, you could do all of the things, body kits, crazy paint jobs, and shit like that. And it's where the Japanese cars really came into their own for people who had never seen the badass cars that were from the mid to late 90s from Japan. Like the RX-7, Supra, etc. So that changed a lot of things.
A buddy of mine actually had an RX-7 in the 90s.
Yeah, same here. A good friend of mine did too, and he actually had it. Did have it turboed, but unfortunately with him, he had what he called the curse of the red car. Every vehicle he had that was red usually ended up total in a ditch. So he went through a few before learning to never buy a red car again. But also another friend of mine actually was, when he was still stationed in Japan with the in the Army. I don't remember what he was in. One of those armed forces. I can never remember because so many friends have been in every force. He was actually a drifter in Japan in the late 90s. So he actually did semi-pro drifting over there. And then when he came back, he bought, not, I almost said Skyline. Sylvia. He built himself up a S13 Sylvia here, and just as a toy, and would drive it on the streets.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Oh, I'm sorry, frightening. Very frightening. Wrong word. Because the one time he took me for a ride in it, it was insanely. It was the fastest thing I'd ever ridden in at that point. And we get back to Starbucks where we were hanging out, and I nearly shit myself with the way he was going around corners. And mind you, it wasn't even like full on sliding. It was just the speed in which he was taking corners, because the thing would just hug the ground. And he's like, "Man, I don't know what's wrong. It feels all fucked up." I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "It's way too slow." I'm like, "What the hell are you?" And turns out he didn't know his power steering reservoir was leaking, and it had been dumping fluid straight into his turbo intake. And so he brings back his input turbine, and it is completely smooth. Like,
wow.
it had destroyed, because liquid at that speed is like fucking rocks.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't have a cover on his turbo; it was just open. So he was just sucking that fluid straight in there. Could completely destroyed that turbo, shredded it into nothing. And of course, his engine just pounded it out and never even looked the other way at the aluminum going through it. So he scared the hell out of me with no boost.
Jesus.
Yeah, but outside of the rate,
power steering leaking, so the response time was probably also different from what he was used to as well.
Yeah, but if you've got that big of a turbo, it was just one way or the other. The power's not really going to be that big of an issue. The other thing is, I've always loved platformers and side scrollers. That's just what we all grew up on, man. I grew up on the Atari 2600 way back when.
That was my first console when I was a kid.
And it basically lived in our den. Like, the den wasn't really used for much of anything, but there was an old TV in there with the 2600 hooked up to it, and that's what I played. And it took a very long time for me to get even an NES. And of course,
I didn't get an NES until like '87. It'd been out for almost 2 years before I got one. But my cousins had them, so I got to play them like on weekends and everything. And
yeah, same exact thing.
Best friend in elementary school, he had one too, so I had access to one to play almost daily. It's just 2 years after the fact that I got one for myself.
Yeah, it was the same exact situation here. On the weekends, whenever we were building our house, I would stay with my cousins, and my parents would go build the house. And so we would play Duck Hunt, Mario 2, all the original games from the mid '80s.
Mega
Man. I was into Mega Man. I had Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 6, which are still insanely good games.
Oh God, yeah.
Mega Man 2 has still got one of the best soundtracks ever.
Oh, dude, Mega Man 2. Look up a band called Bit Brigade.
I know.
Okay. Watch their play of Mega Man 2.
Okay.
Because for those that are watching this now, Bit Brigade is a band that they don't have a lead singer. They've got a speedrunner. He plays a video game on stage, and it's on a projector so everybody can see his playthrough. And the band plays the game soundtrack behind him.
Yeah.
He speedruns through Mega Man 2. This is their performance at MagFest from a couple of years back. He plays through Mega Man 2. It's like a 42-minute long video, and that's with complete opening music and closing credits. No deaths through the entire thing. Doesn't even collect an extra man, anything.
That's ridiculous.
And it's a great performance. I love Big Brigade. They're awesome. Some friends of mine, they're big Mega Man fans. They actually hold a charity event every year at MagFest in January. It's called the Mega Manathon. And this year is going to be, I think they're 6th or 7th.
Now, classic Mega Man, or
classic,
or do they go into X?
They go into everything.
Okay.
It's a 72-hour marathon. They start at noon Thursday and run until noon on Sunday, just playing anything and everything Mega Man related, and all the classic games.
Did they do Mighty Number 9?
They did last year. Yes.
Okay, so I was wondering. I had that game. I stressed the had because it was still pretty glitchy when I had it, and I couldn't get through it because it wouldn't let me beat the boss.
I have it. I've not played through it yet, but I have it.
It's fun. It's obviously it's the spiritual successor to Mega Man because it was made by
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, I just forgot his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And
Yeah, the
honestly,
creator of the actual Mega
yeah,
Man franchise.
it was definitely rushed. It was not, even though they actually extended the levels from the original intent. It was the levels I did complete were so fast. It does still take the elemental factor in there, so you got to beat a certain boss to get a certain thing, and of course, but there's clues in the game. It's kind of fun. Once you beat one, then they're on your side because you're technically purifying them, and then they will back you through the rest of the game. And certain ones will help you to get through a level in like the background.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll come through, they'll clear out some enemies for you and stuff like that, just automatically. You don't have to like summon them or anything. And then there's it's not really hard to describe. I'm just trying to think. The last boss that I needed to beat, it was on the highway level, which is a hard enough level because you're jumping across moving vehicles in a side scroller. And if you're trying to go quickly, you'll jump too early and then you're dead as soon as you touch the road.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's that good old thing where you're trying to jump from one platform to the next, but you don't see the hidden thing that's shooting at you until it's perfectly timed to hit you midair and drop your ass.
Yeah.
I hate that. I've always hated that. Mega Man 2 was notorious for that.
Oh, yeah.
The later Mega Man games were slightly easier than 2 was. Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw this or not. I don't really share all these things in off the runner. Hold on. I gotta do this without losing my headphones.
Okay.
These new things I picked up from GameStop and Walgreens.
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, new Mega Man 8 bits from Jack Pacific. So this is they're celebrating 30th anniversary of Mega Man. Plus, I love the 30th logo. They actually use this helmet for the 0. That's so awesome. So this is, of course, only the original Mega Man and Robot Masters, but I can't wait for them to get to 2 because that's just my thing. That's probably going to be next year if I had to guess. But one really cool thing about these, and they'll come up in the reviews when I get there, but nobody's going to watch this, so I don't have to worry about it. They're two-sided, so these will actually go either way.
Nice.
Unlike the other figures that I've got. And the cool thing is the weapons are swappable, so it's just a little peg that goes into his head or his hand, or the actual little flash shot goes into his hand.
Nice.
So it's a lot of fun. And one thing, the 2-packs come from GameStop. The single ones come from Walgreens. But that's the only way you can get Gutsman. So I've got Gutsman over there against Bomb Mega Man.
Very cool.
It's pretty fun. I like those. But side scrollers, I think kids nowadays don't really get how much fun those really are because they're used to big 3D things. And Mario games, honestly, are getting better and better. Like, I really wish I had a Switch or at least a Wii U to play the latest generation of Mario games.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey looks incredible. I've not played it, but it looks incredible.
Odyssey, everybody says it's an amazing game, and the Cappy gimmick is all what it is. But I like the more mainstream, like Mario World games. Like, I really wanted Mario World U, or 3D, sorry, Mario 3D World, because that game was so interactive that the overworld had stuff for you to find by using the actual Wii gamepad.
Oops, sorry for the crash.
Why are you knocking shit over, Josh?
I was popping off my prosthetic leg to rest it for a few minutes because I can't wear it like all day long.
Yeah, I
have to take it off and on every now and then. So I've had it on all day, and I was just in the process of removing it, and I knocked over my walker. Sorry.
Irony, you took your leg off and knocked your walker over.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I can't get up now. But I don't know. I mean, I've been into gaming forever. It's just in the last few years, especially with getting into this hobby, my gaming has gone way down. And I know Dakota, Tyler, and Deluxe get on the Halo 5s, And
Dalton, yeah.
And Dalton, I forgot about Dalton. By the way, Dalton asked me if I was going to TFCon. Dalton keeps sending me messages like privately outside of OTR, like,
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna have a problem with it, but it's like, but I replied, but then he didn't say anything back. Like he's depressed that I wasn't going to TFCon. I was like, well, I have to plan that ahead of time. I can't just do a thing. I have to choose my vacations a year in advance, so I have to know what I'm going to do the year ahead. So if I know when TFCon next year is, I can plan that out.
Well, it's always going to be around the first. It's always going to be around October.
Well, around October doesn't help, but the weekends are a bit more fluid for me than like if I wanted to take off. Like you're leaving tomorrow to go to TFCon, but it doesn't start until the weekend, right? So,
yeah,
I assume Friday or Thursday.
It starts Friday, but most people are going to be getting in on Thursday.
Yeah.
But it starts Friday because the first actual event starts Friday at 9. I think they have like a customizing class or something.
Oh, cool.
To kick it off with. Yeah, I didn't sign up for that, but
why not?
I didn't know what the figure was going to be. They didn't release it until about a week ago, and plus it's like $80 for the class.
So wait, do you have to
basically you're buying the figure, but they're giving you all the parts to build the figure and supplying the paints on how to paint it and everything, and they'll teach you how to customize that.
I can see without knowing what you're getting into whether it'd be worth the money for you.
Exactly. And then I saw it and I was like, yeah, not something I would want to keep.
What was it?
Not something I would want to do. It's an Insecticon. Bob, who was like a companion to Sunstreaker in the IDW comics.
Okay, so nothing super important.
No.
Okay,
it's a cool little thing, but I'm just not a.
See, I would want to do. I would do that for a Gundam deal.
Oh yeah,
that would be a lot of fun. But it would be more fun if they could afford to like have several kits and you could kit bash them and customize it in the class. Like if they're like SDs. They've done speed build competitions around here, stuff like that, which is kind of the same thing, but without the instruction aspect.
Okay.
But maybe I should bring that up to Dion. That's one of our leaders here, and our cantankerous old coot who run things. I really like Dion. We have a lot of fun giving each other shit. Anyways, but no, back to the gaming thing. I need to get back on Halo. The only problem is those guys tend to play so damn late.
Yeah.
Or at least on off the runner nights they do. I don't know. I know Tyler usually works from pretty crazy hours sometimes, but like I can't be up till 2 a.m. when I got to be up at 4:45. If it was on the weekend, sure. I mean, even my schedule's changing as of this weekend, so I won't be able to sleep in on Saturdays anymore. But I will be
fortunate.
No, it's good because I'll have my Saturday afternoons back.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna, instead of staying late at work, I'll be going in early, but I should be getting around about the same hours. I don't know if there's anything else to really talk about gaming other than the fact that I don't do it much as I used to. And Pokemon was definitely one of the things I was off the deep end on there for a few years.
Oh, cool.
Not everybody's into it, though I was absolutely addicted to Pokemon Go when it first started. I had to stop.
A lot of people were.
Like, people ask me, hey, man, you should get on Pokemon Go. I was like, no, I already did. I'm like, well, why did you stop? Because it literally took over my fucking life. Every aspect of my day was trying to figure out where the best pattern to get to all the Pokestops that I could possibly need. What gyms can I camp on without wasting a lot of time? And what areas usually will have the best things that I'm looking for? And this was the early days when it was still brand new. Yeah. I mean, I would leave home because there's a park right behind us. There were 7 Pokestops in that park.
Huh.
So I would drive through the parking lot, around the far side, through the other side of the parking lot, get all of those, and then there was enough time if I went slow that I could come all the way back and catch them again from the beginning. And then I would drive through downtown of our town. I actually mapped out the most efficient route to hit all the Pokestops without really stopping, which was like another 7 or 8 through town. And then that was on my way to work in the morning. And then I would I would do the opposite coming home.
Yeah.
So yes, it absolutely took over my life. That's why I had to stop. I realized I'm addicted, and I deleted the game. I just said screw it, and I have not gone back. I have not played one iota of Pokemon Go since.
Probably for the best.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not like, I don't have that much of an addictive personality, but that game literally fuels its own addiction. I was doing it at work while I was driving the truck.
Oh no!
This
No,
is
no,
before
not
they
good.
shut down the ability when you were moving. So I was doing it while I was planning. I was watching the map so I could see where things were. If I was in a new area, I'd be like, okay, so now I know when I come back through, I can hit all these things. So, and so no, it had to stop. It was in every aspect of my daily life. You could ask her. I would say, hey, baby, let's go this way so that I can hit all these Pokestops real quick. Yeah, no, it was bad. It was real bad. I miss Halo, though, because it was a big chunk of my life in my 20s when I was single. I had nothing better to do, and I wasn't an alcoholic yet. So, okay, I've never been an alcoholic. However, I had not discovered the joys of alcohol at that point.
Okay.
I was a good boy. I had not been drinking that much in my life. So I played video games. I had my friends over on Friday nights. We would have Halo nights, and we'd play hours on end. If you go back to Halo 3 ODST, whenever they announced the recon armor, my friends and I all got together about 3 weeks in a row to try to get all of those VidMaster challenges. The seven VidMaster challenges you had to unlock to get the recon armor completed. And we spent hours trying to get the last couple of them, which was survive 6 rounds, I believe it was on ODST. It was survive 6 rounds on that one on legendary with certain things turned off, and everybody had to survive. We did that for about 15 hours to pass it.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were doing that a combination of both Xboxes in my house and a friend doing it remotely from his house. So
did you ever unlock it all?
Oh fuck yeah! Actually, I did it twice because I did it. I had one friend who he played casually, so he didn't have an account. He was using my secondary account, so I got the recon armor twice. So I had my Shoky 01 account, which is my main one, and then I had my UPS guy 7730, which was my secondary, and both of them got the recon armor. Shoky got white recon armor, and the UPS guy got brown.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then of course my buddy
for you.
Exactly, and my buddy Aaron, that we would basically get off work, and because we worked at the same place, we get off work and he'd come over. This was before. Now he was married at that point, but he would come over and he was part of the gang. But we got so deep into, when did they add the creative thing to Halo? I can't remember.
Honestly, don't know.
I think it was Halo.
Since
it had been Halo 4.
Since Halo 2. So
okay, it had to have been Halo 3 or 4 when they added the ability to really start creating the maps. Like you would just get basically a blank world. No, it couldn't have been Halo 4 because it was still in that apartment when I did this. So it was Halo 3 and ODST. They really did this. So you could place vehicles, weapons, build your own fucking maps and all that shit like that, and then objects and all that things like that. So that's when really big custom games started coming out. So because we're massive Top Gear fans,
yeah,
we recreated the Top Gear test track in Halo, and we kept score of everybody's times with each vehicle, including the Scorpion tank.
Well, that's cool.
And we did it, and the problem is you couldn't do it on the ground. None of the levels were flat enough to do it on the ground. But there was one level, like, for the love of me, I can't remember what it was called, but it had 2 levels. So you would go through a portal and you end up in the sky in a complete blank area. But it would act as if it had a glass floor. So we built the track out of walls and then bricks, and things basically connecting it. So we had the figure 8 track. We had the start line. The only way to time it was to basically wait 10 or 15 seconds in and then go, and then kill yourself at the finish line. So we just
Huh.
so we would subtract the difference of the start time, and that would give us your lap time.
Oh,
And
okay.
of course, if you went off, you died. Uh, if you could control it, it's fine. But we did that for hours on end. I still have it. Hold on. Is it this notebook? Let me look real quick. It might be this notebook. Might have been the other one. No, that's I know it's this notebook. I gotta find it though. Or no. It's such a dumb thing though. But it's just okay. This is all from our machinima that we did for a long time before canceling it. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't in this notebook. Maybe it was a different one. But either way, I had the times written down for the longest time. Oh, I know where it was. It was in one of my art books, not a notebook. Okay, either way, that was a whole lot of fun because obviously the Ghost was the fastest thing because it had the turbo boost and stuff like that. But using big, ridiculous vehicles like the tank or the Wraith to go around a track for times. The other thing we did, and there's video of this. I posted them the other day. If you saw them on my personal Facebook, the Halo videos that I had recorded back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
There was Halo Demolition Derby, and you did that, by basically ramming warthogs into each other. And we had endless amounts of fun once we discovered that. And then it got to the point of trying not to go off. Like we're purposely trying not to knock each other off, but try to do the most ridiculous thing we could, because only the barrels would explode and hurt you. But the vehicles were actually immortal. So that's where we would do some really, really ridiculous flips in the air, stuff like that. That was a shit ton of fun, especially when we started customizing our own. Then we got into dodgeball. Dodgeball in Halo 3 and subsequent games, or Griffball. Griffball was an insanely fun game too. But dodgeball was fun. And basically, you had each side of the thing split by barriers, and you were just hurling grenades at each other. Obviously.
I was wondering how that would work.
Yeah. It's basically don't get stuck is really what it comes down to. Because of course explosion kills would get you too, even if you didn't get stuck. But we wouldn't play with regular grenades. It would be plasmas or spike grenades. So that way you actually had the contact. But that was a ton of fun. And then we did Hack and Splat, which was shotguns and swords and high speed. What made that game difficult is we had shield leeching turned on. So when you hit somebody, you sucked out part of their shield.
Shield energy, yeah.
Yeah, so you took some of their shield energy. So you would have to work them down. But if you guys were clashing with two plasma swords, it would just go back and forth. So somebody would have to get the upper hand. That's when you whip out your shotgun and either hit them or shoot them in the head, and then it's over. And then I was telling Deluxe about this. I don't know if you got this far in there or not, but we would play 300% speed, 50% gravity, and play rockets and swords.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was fun. I can't even tell you the years and years of Halo time that we played back in the day, and then it just came down to got busy and stopped playing. Those high speed games were the most fun because that's how you got accurate, because you would have to be good to hit somebody going that fast.
Yeah.
Your eye lead time would have to be ridiculous. Your reaction time had to be ridiculous. So how you can adjust your reaction time, your controller speeds?
Mm-hmm.
Ours were set to 8 or higher just to compensate. And then when we played normal games, our reaction time was
down.
No, left it that high.
Oh, okay.
You just adjusted. You just had yourself cranked to the highest level possible, but you're only going so fast. So that means your reaction is so much faster than the people coming at you. Because I would play people who didn't play like that. And they're like, dude, how are you doing this? Like, I just trained myself to be faster. So it is what it is. I mean, now I'm rusty as hell, so I can't claim anything like that. But Halo 4 changed things. Halo 5 changed things even further. So I'm really rusty, but I love SWAT more than anything on that, because headshots are life.
Cool.
But also the I don't remember if we had a name for it, but it was with the it wasn't high speed, but just low gravity. And we would do rockets and grenades. But the only way you were allowed to kill somebody was if you deflected the rocket with a grenade into the person.
That sounds hard.
It was, but you get real good at geometry.
Oh, I bet.
It's timing and geometry. So if you know where somebody is, and mind you, you've got low gravity, so you got really long hang times. So you hurl the grenade in front of you and you fire the rocket at it to time it out to when it explodes. If you time it wrong, the rocket explodes with it. You time it right, it just deflects it away at an angle to wherever. And we discovered that by accident. And we're like,
that's insane.
And so you also learn how to shoot around corners that way too.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do shit like that.
They may have changed it, but in Halo 3 and ODST, you could do that. They may have changed the physics a little bit. Also, we used to try to purposely stick rockets with grenades and see what would happen. That's really hard. But either way, that's enough of that. Because good lord, we could talk about my Halo. And actually, I found out how to get old saved videos and stuff like that from Halo 3 and those games on Xbox Live. But after Bungie dropped it all, you couldn't access it anymore. It's there on the website archived, but you can't see it or download any of it. But apparently, if you open the game, even on an Xbox 360 or higher, if you open the game and you go to a person's profile in the game, you can go to their file share and it's still there to download.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
at least it's not completely lost.
No, it's not completely locked. You just couldn't do it the old way. The old way, you would go on the website, find somebody's stuff, because you could browse everybody's uploaded levels or videos, and you would just set it to download. And as soon as you logged into the Xbox, it would download it automatically. So you could have your levels, your gameplay, and everything like that. So I uploaded several like dodgeball maps and things like that for that reason. But apparently you can do that via the file share on Xbox now. So I've got to figure that out. Oh, Minecraft. I didn't get there, but I got deep into Minecraft on the Xbox 360 for a long time. And as other people have heard, I've built a scale Lego ship in Minecraft. Like scaled up to the size of Steve so that I could walk around inside it.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah.
I never could get into Minecraft. I tried it out. My daughter loves it. But I tried it out, and it's just, no, not for me.
I've got to figure out which Xbox it's still saved on so that I can put it on my Xbox One so I can actually complete the damn thing. It's about 70% complete, but it's so huge that it is based off the Lego Millennium Falcon. But I customized it to a thing that I called Retribution. And then I figured out the dimensions on what a Lego block would be to scale it up. Made sure I set the key on the ground. Like I have like a 1x1 block, and then like a 2x3 block, and then a flat block laid out there for people who would help me, so they would know the dimension to build by. So when we were going brick by brick in Minecraft, recreating this thing.
Jesus.
Yeah. If you go into my Facebook, you can find the album. Like actually, because you could take pictures. So I've got pictures of it. It's incomplete, but you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. So if you just go pop over there and look at that, it's fun. And you get an idea of how fucking big it is. It's over 300 bricks long. Or 300 blocks in Minecraft. So if you watched her play enough, you know how big. So it's over 300 blocks long and over 150 blocks wide and like 130 blocks tall.
That does sound pretty large.
Yeah. And considering, I learned this the other day, that a block in Minecraft is actually a meter squared or a meter cubed.
Okay, so that's how it would scale if it were a real life person standing there.
Kind of, yeah. So it's really big. So I scaled it up. Obviously, I'd use my imagination to say, okay, if it's going to be this big and I want to make it into a hallway, so I'd find the one thing that needed to say, okay, if I need this, I was basically going it's almost the dimensions of a Star Destroyer from Star Wars.
Wow.
So give you an idea size wise compared to the person wandering around inside. So yeah. Let me ask you. Let's go here real pretty quick though. Uh,
Okay.
so I'll bring up TFCon since that's the thing you're gonna go run off to, and I'm jealous as hell. Um, I don't really have a good question about it because I know this is like your first con
Yeah.
ever that you're going to.
Yeah.
I've only been to one or two. One was an anime convention. One I wouldn't even really call it a con. It was just more like a bunch of people in one. It was a con, but not anywhere on that level. Um, I've never been to TFCon. I've never been to anything that related or to a very specific thing, or like obviously the old bot cons and stuff like that. Um, but we've seen them online forever. You know, we see people go. You talk about the halls. Bobby's going to be an artist alley, slinging prints and things.
Hmm.
Um, but what are you looking forward to most? Because
Oh, just
I know it's such a shallow question, but I don't have a deeper one to go with here.
well, I mean, the
Be-
just I'm going for the people. You know, I'm going to be able to meet all the people that have been in my corner and supporting me and made the experience of what I went through with my amputation and recovery. They they were just there, and I've become friends with so many people, like online friends. It's like I talk to the people online more than I talk to my real life friends. You know what I mean?
I
It's
know
like,
exactly what you mean.
well, here's the thing, and I've not really said this publicly. Since I've been home from my amputation,
Mhm.
only one of my real life friends that lives here locally in town has come to see me,
Oh
and
wow.
they've only come up two times. And one time was to sit with me a couple of days after I got out of the hospital. I had to miss Madison's elementary school graduation.
Oh
I couldn't make it because I was just like 3 days removed from the hospital. So he came up and sat with me for 2 hours while Misty was gone to that. Uh, I don't have a lot of friends locally, sadly. I do have a couple, and the other day, a couple of friends of mine did drive over from Kentucky. They live about an hour away and they got to come by for the first time, and I understand people have kids, people have jobs,
yeah.
so it sucks. So I've made a lot of great friends online in the ROC community. So I'm going for them. I'm going to actually be able to meet them. The people that have made an impact and made a difference in mine and Misty's life, and Madison's too. I wish that Misty and Madison could go like the original plan, but you know,
Yeah,
she can't
when you
get the
said she
time
couldn't
off of
go,
work.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker. She can't get the time off of work, but she insisted. She knew how important it was to me, and she's like, "I want you to go to this. I want you to experience this because almost dying, man, it's you always think, "Oh, I'd really like to go to this, but you know what? There'll be another one. I'll go next year." I'm not, I almost
Yeah.
wasn't here. And I've never done anything like this. And I was just like, it's time. I don't want to let opportunities pass me by anymore just because I'm like, the timing's not right. I'll do it another time. No, I might not be here for another one. You know, uh, Going through what I did, I came out with a different perspective on things. I'm not taking things for granted like I used to. So the opportunity, yeah, it's costing me money, but the opportunity to meet all these people that have made such a difference in our lives and to make memories with them and to be in their presence and experience things with them one on one. That's my whole priority for going. The convention to me is a bonus. I mean, yeah, it'll be cool to take in a con and, you know, check out some panels and presentations and such. And, maybe even buy, a couple of figures. But, I'm definitely going to be getting some stuff from Bobby. Um, because I love his artwork,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I love the fact that the proceeds from his artwork, he has his company Defending Myths and Heroes. Every year he takes a portion of the proceeds and donates them. Like, he draws fictional heroes and donates the proceedings from that to real life heroes, like Fallen Firefighters projects and Wounded Warrior project and things like that. And that is so admirable. And so, in turn, I'm going to be able to contribute a little bit towards that with a purchase or two from him. I want to get some stuff from Pinkerton's wife. She's got the Etchbox Customs where she does the custom glassware. I'm
Oh, I
looking
didn't know
forward
that.
to seeing that. Yeah, yeah, she does. She does some incredible work. Custom glassware. Etchbox Customs. It's really cool. And just meeting everybody, hanging out. And I've never been to Chicago before.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Illinois, but I've never been to Chicago. Um, but it's not. Somebody asked me, "Are you going to take in some sites while you're there?" I was like, "If time permits," but I'm going to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
It's like I can order Transformers online. I know the websites to go to.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I could, it's like, yeah, it's cool to see it right there in front of your face, and the temptation is like, oh, you want this figure, you don't have it yet, yeah, but I want to go hang out with like Dalton. He hit me up the other night. He's like, you're gonna be in Chicago on Friday, right? I was like, yeah, we're getting there Thursday. He's like, me, you, Joe, and Dakota, and maybe Bricks too. I don't know if he's going to be there yet. The cast from Stasis Lock basically get pizza for lunch on
I,
Friday. I was like, hell yeah.
I think Chris said he couldn't make it.
He's going. He's
Oh,
flying, but
I thought he said he couldn't. Maybe I misunderstood.
oh, I hope he's still going.
Somebody else said they couldn't go. I couldn't remember who it was.
I hope he's still going
Oh,
because
don't
I'm
quote
going
me
to
on
take
that.
him. I'll hit him up and ask him because I'm going to take him some sodas. That's the plan.
Oh
You know
yeah.
how he does on his YouTube channel, Clutch Drinks Crazy Sodas.
Yep.
I got some regional ones from here that he's never had before that he can use for his channel. So I'll take it and do that. But it's just about going and being with friends, man. I mean, I'm so excited about it. I really am, but I'm nervous at the same time. But that awkwardness,
Oh yeah.
because the awkwardness is going to be gone because I've done so many hangouts with these guys and interacted with them so much online and listened to their shows and then listen to my shows and being on shows with them and stuff like that. It's just like, it feels like I've known these guys forever. And it's just a super cool thing. And I wish you could go, man. That would be so fun, dude. But I know
Uh,
having to plan out in so far advance, I get it.
Well, the other thing is, right now, all the money we're saving is going basically to next weekend. We're going to the Renaissance Festival, um, which it's a lot of fun. We get to hang out there for a day and buy
Oh,
stuff.
like a medieval Renaissance festival
Oh
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Oh, those are awesome, dude.
No, Texas Renaissance Festival is one of the biggest ones in the U.S. Period. But we had a lot of fun doing it. We try to go every year now, but that's all the money we're saving up right now, and money has been very, very tight the last 2 months, like worryingly so. Like
Yeah.
waiting 2 weeks to pay bills. Tight. So, anyways, but I would love to be able to make it to any of these big cons where everybody goes, because a lot like you, the real life friendships have dwindled. Mind you, I still have plenty of friends, but I don't get to see them. We talk
Exactly.
and even though we live in the same fucking city, mind you, Houston is a massive city. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
and I live in a tiny town of 1,400 people, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So Houston, it could be an hour and a half drive to see somebody in the same city.
Yeah.
Um, but I've made a couple friends that are willing to make the friendship work, and that's what's actually really good. They're the ones we're actually going to the Renaissance with next weekend, or we would have
Nice.
gone we would have gone yesterday, which the weather was absolutely perfect yesterday. I would have
Oh
gone with a
yeah.
different friend, but also would have less money saved. So I put away money every week. But it's come to now where like the guys in OTR or the friends I've made in other Facebook groups or other YouTubers that I
Mm-hmm.
know around the US that I would love to go see and hang out with
Mm-hmm.
versus the guys that I've known for years that live in the same damn city. It's like these are guys that I know and I talk to either through Hangouts or we message on Facebook or whatever, and they're closer friends to me now
Yeah.
than people I've known for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's like I've got to find a way to see these people somehow. Like Unboxing Art and I, we're good friends at this point. We haven't got to talk much in the last couple of weeks. He's been insanely busy, but like he lives in Maryland along with right over there with almost all the other uh, realm guys up there. So if I ever manage to make it up into the Northeast, I'm just going to kind of like just hit everybody
Yeah.
while I'm up there. Um, but I think Dakota Deluxe and I are all going to plan a meetup in Dallas because it's about the same distance from all three of us. Um,
Oh, that would be
and we're
awesome,
and
man.
we're just going to go hang out and do whatever because Deluxe is right over there in Arkansas, and
Mm-hmm.
Dakota's right there in Louisiana. So
Down there
like,
in the swamp.
yeah, so we're like all basically about 4.5, 5 hours from Dallas. So it's like we'll just fuck it. We'll make a weekend and go hang out in Dallas somewhere. If it's a
Dude, that
con
would be
or
so cool.
if there's a con or something like that, like A-Con, which is every year the anime convention up there, if we could time that out, like if I can get my weekends more free, which is one thing that this new
The
hour
new
schedule,
schedule is going to permit.
other than the fact that I'm going to have to wake up at 4 a.m. on Saturdays, uh, but I'll actually be off. Normally, I'd be off at 4 p.m. and basically lose my entire day. And by the time I get off, I'm tired and I don't want to do anything. If I get off before 1 o'clock, I'll be much more apt to go and do things. Like even my local club, uh, I skipped the Saturday meets because I had to miss them. They were at 1 in the afternoon. I couldn't do it, and I didn't get off work
Now
till
you
4.
now you can make them.
Should be able to. I need to keep
Or
back up with it. I feel bad because I missed the one yesterday. I didn't even know it was going to happen, and I had 3 different people hit me up wondering if I was going to come to the meet. And I'm
oh
like,
man.
shit, I didn't even know about it. I didn't plan for it. I had all this other stuff going on. I was like, otherwise I would have gone out there. All right. Well, let me get to the last topic real quick. So it's an
All
interesting
right.
one.
Okay.
Okay. So you're a Doctor Who fan. You've been keeping up with the new season, right?
I am, but I have not gotten to watch the new episode from last night.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm just bringing it up because of the very recent gender swap of the Doctor. So very, very recently, the Doctor finally, after over 53 years of being a male, finally is a female, following the lead of the Master, which is probably where he got the idea. And given that in recent years there have been far more female-driven movies, female superheroes, things like that, and so we're getting a lot more female empowerment, which also definitely allows for gender swapping of traditional heroes and stuff like that being changed over. Doctor Who being one thing,
Yep.
and a few other things. I wanted to bring up an idea. What other character in whatever fiction could be gender swapped and may still be a good show or movie or anything like that?
Huh. Well,
Because as far as I'm concerned right now, the female Doctor is working.
oh, she's kicking ass from what I've gotten to see.
My criticism, and when you watch this episode, you'll probably catch on this too. The writing is not as good as we've had for years, but they still got to figure all that out. It's not Stephen Moffat anymore, but
it's early on.
yeah,
I loved Russell T Davies. I loved his stuff more
of
than
course.
Moffat's.
Oh,
I love Davies' stuff more than Moffat's. I think,
to each their own.
But I loved Capaldi just as much as Tennant. Loved Capaldi.
Okay.
I wasn't a big fan of Smith.
That's funny because I just got the wife into that. But either way, That's my criticism of not of the Doctor, but of the show. The character is still coming through perfectly fine as a female,
Yeah,
and
it's still
actually,
finding its way with the writing, and
I just
that's anytime
that's
there's a new showrunner, new major shakeup, that's going to happen.
yeah. So let's shake up another show or another movie series. Could be comic books, could be something else. Let's find some characters that we can gender. Actually, you know what? We can make a gender swap both ways if we want. There's a female character that we could swap to be a male, but
I
might
got
defeat
one.
the point.
I got one for you.
Okay.
The Crow. The Crow. Oh my God! Give me a female Crow.
Yeah, that would work.
That's my favorite movie of all time, dude, and my favorite comic book of all time. The Crow.
So coming back as a kind of a vengeful spirit,
Mm-hmm.
almost Ghost Rider-y, but without the hell powers. Though immediately what came to mind was Buffy the Vampire Slayer coming back after she died, almost in a similar fashion. That's where my mind went, thinking of a female Crow character. I mean, there's no reason they couldn't do it. I swear to God, they tried that on one of the later movies. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, they've done 4,
At least
and
4.
there's been one been in development hell forever.
Yeah, that's probably
they did the first one, and they did the second one. I think was it Stuart Townsend in the second one?
No clue.
I can't remember. They did the series with Mark Dacascos.
I remember that.
Then they did one movie with Edward Furlong as the Crow, and they did one with Wilmer Valderrama as the Crow. And yep,
Fez?
they did. Fez. Fucking Fez.
I mean, I can see it if they wanted to have a Hispanic one, which would be fine.
But yeah, give me a female Crow, man. Oh my God, yes, give me a female Crow. That would be so wonderful.
Yeah, there's no reason that wouldn't work. Huh. Okay, so let's cast that though. If we're gonna do a Crow movie with a female Crow lead, who would you have her be?
I don't want to go to the obvious like Mila Jovovich.
No, don't go anybody who's in that genre.
I don't want to go.
I don't Kate Beckinsale was like,
obvious.
Yeah, Kate Beckinsale was number 2.
Obvious,
yeah.
And you know, as much as I love Scarlett Johansson, no, sorry.
No.
Let's see. Ooh. I kind of want to say Ruby Rose, man. Of course, she's just been cast as Batgirl.
Batwoman.
Sorry.
Get it right. She's all grown.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a Batgirl. There's a Batwoman.
Yeah, they're not the same character.
Yeah. I'd like to see her. Maybe that would be cool.
Still kind of the similar.
It is,
but she's not a huge name. She's not a massive established name. No, people know who she is, but she's not ScarJo.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Oh yeah,
I can definitely see that.
I'm seeing it right now, and I might have to take a break. Oh, shit. No.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Because I'm even thinking TV actresses that could pull it off.
See, I don't watch a lot of TV. Very few actual like on air like network shows do I watch. Doctor Who being one. Better Call Saul. I don't watch The Walking Dead anymore. I gave up on that shit. I checked out last season.
Same. I haven't watched it in almost 2 seasons just because I got lazy and then we haven't caught up.
Oh no, the writing got terrible.
Yeah.
You bring in the best character in the comics and the show turns to shit. That's terrible. But yeah. So I don't watch a lot of network TV. So I'm trying to think of lesser known actresses that could totally pull it off. You know, of course, she sprang to mind.
I don't know why I thought Natalie Portman for a second, but then I was like, no, never mind. She's a serious actress now. She couldn't pull that off. Plus, not physical enough, really. I'm trying to think. Not maybe because obviously there's a very typecast the ones that do the action movies that we're used to seeing, but they're basically always playing the same character regardless of what movie they're in at this point. So that's where you get your Mila Jovoviches and stuff like that. I just had her name. Damn it! I've done that a lot today, where I'm just having brain farts.
You know the actress that played Colleen Wing in Iron Fist.
Yeah,
she could totally pull it off.
She could kick ass.
Part of me was amazing in season 2 of Iron Fist.
I still haven't seen it yet. I have not caught up on the newest Marvel stuff, which I should do while I still have Netflix.
Season two of Luke Cage and Iron Fist were both better than season 1 of each.
I saw all of season 2 of Luke Cage. I have not. Wait, did I? Hold on. I started it. I didn't finish it. That's right.
That's why I haven't watched the new episode of Doctor Who from last night yet, because I had to wrap up Daredevil season 3 before I leave tomorrow.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
I watched it this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I had to finish it before I go. Because when I get back, that's when we're going to record our next episode all queued up.
You know who would have been a really good Crow if it was made in the late 90s? Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, Sigourney, she is the original female action hero.
Yeah, but imagine in 1997 if they did a female Crow. Those cheekbones.
We'll see. That's why I'm thinking Ruby Rose. Her facial features alone. Wow.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, she's just. But yeah, man. I think that would be my dream casting for that role. I can't. Now that I've pictured it, I just can't think of anybody else that would fit, because she's got the slender, athletic build.
Yeah.
But she just has this, looks like she could kick your ass if you looked at her the wrong way.
You know who actually wouldn't be bad at it if she wasn't already doing mainline stuff? Actually, I think Gal Gadot would actually not be too terrible at that.
That's true.
With her Wonder Woman build.
Yeah.
You know, assuming she never did Wonder Woman, but she kept that, because she already can do the action stuff.
Yeah.
And the accent is what it is, but nobody ever said it had to be set here.
Oh.
But I think that would work, because she's lesser known, with the exception of like the 2 big mainstream movies she's really done. But that would work.
Yeah.
Just make it just avoid let her have less of a tan than she has as Wonder Woman, so she can put on the white makeup, no problem.
But yeah,
I'm trying now. I have to answer my own question. It's like now I'm trying to think of somebody to gender swap. I didn't have an answer prepared for it.
I didn't either, but I'm standing here. I've got a signed print of The Crow from James O'Barr.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hanging on my wall here next to my Bobby Skullface artwork. Yes. And I was looking at it, and you asked me that, and I'm just staring at it, and I was like, oh my God, that would be the most amazing thing.
The other thing I'm trying to think of is characters that haven't been done, because I'm looking over at my Marvel shelf, and I'm like, no, there's Iron Man, there's Deadpool. And mind you, they're not the same exact characters, but they've done it, so they have.
Yeah, there's been a female Thor. There is a female Iron Man now. There is there's Lady Deadpool, there's Gwenpool, there's also, there's been Spider-Gwen, there's also.
So they've done it. Comic books have done it for a while.
Yeah, comic books have been doing it for a long time.
If I remember correctly, DC has one of their Earths is a completely gender swapped Earth, aside from the Dark, except for the Dark Multiverse. If I remember correctly, the Dark Multiverse did it too. If you read Dark Knight's Metal, that's where the Drowned came from. That was the female Batman from that universe. Or I guess Batwoman, technically speaking. She's not a female Batman, although that makes way more sense. But that's Bryce Wayne, which sounds silly, but it is what it is. I'm looking around. I'm trying to figure out, just within my own fandoms here, because it makes sense for Doctor Who to switch it, because they always had the ability to change And now we know the Time Lords can also pick who they're kind of turning into as
Yeah,
they're regenerating.
yeah. They kind of established that with Capaldi, like because he was in that one episode with David Tennant years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "Why this face? Why this face?"
I think they were just trying to. Originally, they didn't plan that out. They were just justifying it to the fans how somebody who's been on Doctor Who and Torchwood would be in there as the Doctor. Oh, that would be funny. A female Captain Jack.
Oh wow, yeah, female Captain Jack would be incredibly amusing.
But she would just be a whore. Oh,
No, that that
no.
that would be that would be the backlash against it. That would be the outrage. They would say it on Twitter.
But
That
but
would
he,
be Twitter's just
but he
assessment
just,
of it.
but he just comes from a universe where you can be pansexual,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter. So I mean, that's the only thing about it. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, that's funny. I stuck with it, but no, that would be funny if there was a female Captain Jack, and her name was Jacqueline. Just shortened it to Jack Harkness.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be funny. It could work. Could totally work
Yeah.
because we know that he can change bodies or to some degree. So maybe at some point he definitely did. We don't know. We never got to see much more of his story after Torchwood ended,
No.
which,
And that's a damn shame. I hated how that ended on such. I was like, that was so good.
well, they've done. Wait, which ending were you talking about though?
I'm talking about the one they did on Showtime.
Oh, Miracle Day. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people saw Miracle Day unless you were actually a Torchwood fan. And most people say that was probably one of the worst seasons. Yeah, I'll give it credit where it's due. But I think that would be an interesting. Actually, all of Torchwood being gender swapped would be interesting. So Jack being female, Gwen being male,
Mm-hmm. Glenn.
Glenn. I could see it. Ooh, a good Owen character. That'd be funny. Switched. Just a bitch. Actually, they kind of almost had that in the first couple episodes or first episode. Uh, yeah, that'd be funny. I wasn't even thinking full gender swaps for a series or something like that, but that would actually be a funny one. They've sort of hinted at it, but not really. If Sam and Dean from Supernatural were females, might be interesting. So they're sisters, but they've sort of gone that route with the new female characters they've introduced in the last few years, who are basically fulfilling that same role. But the actual characters being changed would actually be kind of interesting. And their mom survived and their dad died. That would be interesting.
Never seen Supernatural.
Oh, I love it. I'm trying to get caught up on the last season. I was binge watching it the other day.
Well, they're like 11 or 12 seasons in now.
13.
Really?
They're on their 13th season.
Wow.
Yeah, that show has outlasted any other CW show. And
Wow.
playing with religious fiction was probably the most fun part. Angels, demons, God, the Bible.
Yeah.
That was part of the most fun part for me. I've really enjoyed it, and actually probably influenced the way I look at religion and things like that as well, which is really weird. I know it's.
Have you ever watched Preacher?
No, I wanted to.
Oh, dude, check it out.
Yeah. Who plays?
The first 2 seasons are on Hulu in their entirety.
Isn't that Dominic, whatever? Cooper, yeah, the guy who played, young Howard Stark.
Mm-hmm.
In another series that didn't deserve to be canceled.
Yep, that's him.
I liked Agent Carter. That was good. Yeah, Dominic Cooper. Yeah, I need to watch that. I've seen hints of it here and there. I've just never watched it.
Dude, Preacher's amazing.
Is it tied into another universe?
Well, no, it's just basically, it was a standalone comic that was.
Oh, okay. I thought it was tied into somebody's universe.
No. It's a really good comic. It's been a very enjoyable series.
I'll probably give it a try. I need to get caught up on everything. Obviously, I'm behind because I didn't have Netflix for about 5 months, so I got behind on all of those series. So we're trying to
Man,
play catch
yeah,
up now.
and now you're like, I don't even know what I should watch on Netflix. If only there were a podcast that you could listen to that would
Yeah.
let you know how good shows are. Oh wait, there is one.
Oh, that's a thing. I didn't even know that was a
Yeah, yeah,
thing, Josh.
yeah. It's called All Queued Up.
Shameless fucking
Shameless
plugs.
plug.
No, it's not that I don't know that series are good. It was like I got wrapped up in doing other things. Like, of course, I'm watching while I'm building and stuff like that because I need to make sure I'm not just sitting on my ass on the couch.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing when I was building something over here. I was watching. Oh, it was the big spiky one back there. I was binge watching.
Nice.
Binge watching Supernatural while doing that. But now that I know that Daredevil is out, and I've been waiting for Daredevil more than anything after Defenders for some reason because I guess we all wanted to know what the hell happened to him. So that's what I was waiting on. Even though I did enjoy Jessica Jones season 2, I actually liked that. I thought it was really good. What I saw of Luke Cage season 2, I know I got into it. I just only got a couple episodes deep before we got rid of Netflix. I liked Luke Cage the first season, so I figured I'd like the next one. Iron Fist 2, I'd heard was way better than the first season because they
Oh,
actually put
absolutely.
some effort into it this time.
Well,
And
they
of
had a
course,
different showrunner too.
oh, that definitely helps.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't even matter. So just kind of now you're just watching the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
But I think who was it that talked about it the other day? Thinking that they're probably shutting them down on Netflix just to bring them back on the Disney streaming service.
That's a theory that's prevalent. We mentioned it on MPSP Theater
Oh, okay, maybe that's where I saw it.
both last week and this past week when we found out when they announced late Friday night they canceled Luke Cage. I know. I think I think Bobby and Adam talked about it a little bit on Nerd Rage last week too. Uh, and it's speculation, widely speculated. Yeah, Disney owns it.
They've been
They're
and they've
starting
been
their own streaming service next year.
and they're
They're
pulling
probably
movies right and left.
Yeah, I don't
So
know. I don't
it
know how the rights work to all that.
well, if they cancel it to lose any of the Netflix connection, that makes sense. So they own the rights to the characters and everything else like that, because it's a Disney property being part of Marvel.
Yeah, yeah,
But if they wanted to if they wanted to escape the Netflix chunk of it, which obviously they're going to have to own some rights to, they were the ones making the show. So they would have to cancel it, but then they could still bring it back on a different service, obviously with no Netflix ties, but with most of the same crew and stuff like that, assuming they're not under contract directly with Netflix to produce. That would probably be the thing that changes there. But I mean, I'm okay with it. But having a whole other fucking service on top of all the ones we already pay for, it's going to get annoying. Not to mention that they're going to pull every movie, every series, and start throwing it on their own thing. They already did it with Freeform, pulling a lot of things to that channel, quote unquote. So I don't know. It's Disney; they want to own everything. If Disney and Amazon merge in the next couple of years, we're all fucked.
it might happen. Who knows?
But they'll probably produce the biggest TV shows and movies ever because they have the most money.
Amazon's put out some good quality content on their own.
Yeah, actually, that's how we're catching up on Doctor Who because it's exclusively on Amazon now.
Yeah,
Because they made that deal with BBC, which pisses me off. But I'm blowing through the free 30-day trial to watch all this stuff so the wife can get caught up. And then if I have time, I'll watch other Amazon only series while I've got it.
Jack Ryan's really good.
Is it hard watching Jim run around with a gun? I'm just kidding. I have a hard time seeing John Krasinski as anything but Jim from The Office, except if he has a beard.
Yeah, he is really good. The Tick on Amazon's really good.
Is it? Because I was a fan of the old
Yes.
Tick.
Oh, dude, that was so fun. It's
Okay.
got Jackie Earl Haley in it. Come on.
Okay. I might give it a try, but like the designs, I couldn't get into just looking at it. Uh, but I loved. Oh God, who played the Tick before?
The guy that played,
Yes, from Seinfeld. What
yeah,
the
he
hell
played
was his
Putty on
name?
Seinfeld.
Either way,
Yeah, that guy.
that guy. Yeah. Is it David? David? No, David Putty was his name.
Yeah,
Uh,
his name was David Putty, but yeah, I can't think of
oh,
his
God.
name.
He has a very unique name. Either way, um, I loved his take on the Tick because it was pure moron, and he plays a moron, and the voice, everything worked for me. But one of the most laugh out loud moments I've had, and I rewatched it like 2 years ago, was when he was arguing with the toilet that got backed up, and I laughed so fucking hard.
Dude, I think if you like that, then you will really like the Amazon series.
I mean, okay, I might
Because
give it a try while I've
he
got it.
he's played by Peter Serafino. What's in this one?
Okay,
Uh,
I don't know that name.
you ever seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yes.
He was Sean's asshole roommate that hated Ed.
Oh, the one who like one of the first guys who died. I found him in the
Yeah,
shower. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I thought he looked
But
familiar in the promos.
but and his American accent is hilarious because he sounds like Gary Cole, Lumberg from Office Space.
Yeah.
He sounds like Gary Cole, but yeah, it's good, man. He's he's just a blithering idiot, and he does it so well. You'd like it.
Just a second. I'm gonna hate myself as soon as I find it. Patrick Warburton. Jesus Christ.
Yes, Patrick Warburton. Sorry, I
God.
couldn't think of his name.
No, just we've been talking so much about people and characters and actors. It's like trying to pull a random name out. All right. Well, let's go ahead and call that quits because it's been shit. It's been a while.
Yeah, we've been
It is
going a good 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours at least. Yeah. Well, of course, we bullshitted for a little bit before we started recording, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
That's why I like
and I
doing
think
these because we get to really dig deep. And this one was a bit more creative than some of the ones we've done before because I think like almost every question you've had to really kind of come up with an answer. So I really do dig that. It's not just answering a simple question, and it's more fun. Like
yeah, that
I mean,
was really good. Especially that music question you hit me with, man. That was great. That was a
yeah.
good one.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It took me all of 15 minutes to figure that one out. Like I said,
Hey,
had to find a creative way to talk you through the what happened to you. So that was a good way to go.
yeah, it was.
Gotta
Well,
have
yeah,
those
man.
deep conversations, man. Okay. All right, man. So it was awesome having you on. We had some great discussions, as obviously we just talked about how great the discussions were. Um, and
Weren't they?
weren't they? And it was a ton of fun actually playing on your Twitch channel the other day with the Jack thing. If there's a way I could actually like jump in and be on the other side involved with you and Greg too, so I can be in there voice wise one day, that would be fun.
Yeah. We actually just do it through a Google Hangout like this.
Yeah, so I
You know?
figured. So if you ever, or like if you needed to do it and he wasn't available, I have a lot of free time usually.
Sure,
But
man.
like obviously, like I'd filmed with Deluxe on my channel, and then a week later filmed with him on his channel. So it's like, now I need to come on and do your things one day.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Either way, it doesn't matter. We'll do a whole lot of work together at some point in life because that's how all this community thing works. But guys, of course, go subscribe to all the things. It'll be in the description down below for links to all the things that Josh is involved with, so you can go check those things out. By the way, how did your charity streaming go? I didn't get a chance to.
It went really well. I did that for the final 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of August. Uh, I'm a small time Twitch streamer. I don't have lofty ambitions or goals. I did it last year. I wanted to raise $100. I raised 103. This
Woo!
year I wanted to double it. I wanted to be able to raise $200. I raised 206. So I actually legitimately
Literally
doubled.
doubled it.
literally doubled it. And you know that I was happy. You know, it was a great cause. It was for uh, child's play charities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What they do is give they purchase consoles and video games and things like that
Oh, that's awesome.
for children's hospitals, and it allows kids that are confined in those hospitals to have activities they can do. And it's not just video games. You know, they also do like buy them like Lego construction sets
But
and
it's letting kids be kids in
learning
situations where they
toys.
can't.
Exactly, it gives them a feeling of normalcy. Just you know, and one of the hospitals that is in the network is one that my daughter has actually been treated at. She had to have emergency surgery for her right arm when she fell and broke it, and you know she went to this hospital, and it's one that is in the network. So they do incredible work because as a person who has had to have extended hospital stays, I know how badly it sucks
Yeah.
not having anything in there. Fortunately, when I did my inpatient rehab at the start of this month, they let me take my PC and everything so I could still do podcasts while I was in there. So I actually recorded 3 podcasts in that week when I was in there.
That's awesome.
So
I would do
yeah,
the same. I would do the same thing. I would have my computer and at least my camera and tripod and try to do something.
yeah.
Uh,
I did. We recorded an episode of All Queued Up, and I edited it and published it while I was in there. We did an episode of Off the Rudder, and I finally got to finish building my 1/100 Grays Kai. And then we did an episode of MPSP Theater, and you know, so it was a lot easier this time than just laying there in my bed and not being able to do anything. So
staring at the
yeah.
walls.
Oh yeah, because the
Yeah.
TV was terrible. At least this way I
Yeah.
had YouTube and Netflix and
Exactly.
stuff.
And you could get caught up on all the Shoky reviews you missed recently.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
I watch a lot of your stuff.
You
I
never
just don't
comment.
comment. I don't comment a lot. No, I know.
I'm just picking. I'm just picking. Uh, but no, I always pick on everybody who comes in. It's like, have you watched my channel? Yeah, that's right.
I've not watched everything on your channel because that would take a long time. You got a lot of content on there, sir. But
Nine. What was my last count? 907 videos.
yeah, yeah. So it
So
would take me a while to get caught up. So
yeah, and the early stuff is kind of garbagey.
yeah, yeah.
Just real quick, Josh, if there's anything else you need to plug, by all means, do it channel wise or anything else. Obviously, we just talked about the charity involved to your channel.
Yeah.
But if there's anything else you need to plug, by all means, let people know what's going on with you. Anything else they need to catch up with or subscribe to.
Well, you know, like I said at the top, I'm co-host of the All Queued Up podcast. You can go and check out all of our content at allqueueduppodcast.com. It has a link to all of our social media sites, our Twitter account, our Facebook discussion group, our YouTube channel. I need to get caught up because I haven't done the video editing for about 2 or 5 months now. But I'll get that caught up. That's my primary goal after TFCon. But yeah, it's all of our audio platforms. There's also blog entries there you can check out for other things that we don't cover. It's a great site. It's a hub. It has links to our merchandise that we have. Uh, yeah, so you can get my goofy animated face on a piece of clothing and wear it around and say, "Hey, that guy's pretty cool. Let's support his ventures. He and his friend."
I was gonna say, do you guys use Teespring or somebody else?
We went through Redbubble because the
Oh,
one I got through
Redbubble. Gotcha.
Teespring, the T-shirt quality was good. The
Mm-hmm.
screen print quality was bad.
Okay, mine haven't been bad. Like, I mean, obviously I'm wearing one of mine right now. But I saw
Yeah,
the mug. The mug you posted looked like it was the same way that I got my mug through
yeah. The mug
Teespring.
I got the mug I got through Teespring, they didn't upscale the image,
Yeah,
and it was just too small.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's what happened here on mine, but it was a wraparound image, so
yeah,
it is
yeah.
what it is. I
But
wish
the one that I got through Redbubble,
Mhm.
perfect,
Oh, really?
beautiful. Yeah.
Uh, uh,
So I
Jo-
went
uh,
through them.
Thomas told me to check out Redbubble as well, but he said the money is better on Teespring.
The money is a little bit better on Teespring, but
But the quality
the
sucks. It is what it is.
quality, the customer, the quality for your customers is better, I think,
Yeah, I'll
overall.
check them out too because obviously I can just import the same files over there.
Yeah.
So that's not
That's
a
what
big
I
deal.
did. Yeah.
All right, guys. So make sure you check out Josh on all the things. I meant to say it earlier
Yep.
when you were talking about it. Of course, congrats to getting in on the Realm of Collectors actual channel. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, we were really excited about that. Really, we were honored to be asked, and it was really exciting. So, yeah, our new home is no longer on the MPSP Theater YouTube channel. It is on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel. If Realm of Collectors is an incredible community. It's more than just a Facebook group. And if you didn't get that from the way I was talking about them in this show, you just gotta get in there, join, be a part of it. It's a wonderful place to be. You don't have to be a Transformers collector. You can be a collector of anything, just as long as you collect.
Yeah, that's the point. It's a realm of collectors, it's not realm of
Yeah,
Transformers collectors. But
exactly.
and most of the people are pretty cool. I mean, obviously, I've talked to many of them if I get involved in some of the group hangouts and other discussions and stuff like that. And I'm trying to get more and more guys from that community in here on this, so I can get to know
Hmm.
them more personally. I really want to get Dust Mites on. I think that'd be a lot of fun, bullshit with music and stuff like that with him.
Oh God,
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
Dust is a big fan of music. Of course, he's a producer. That's
yeah.
that's one of his things.
Did you check out his Daredevil theme
Not yet,
that he did?
not yet.
It was
I
good. I
saw
listened to
it.
it earlier.
I saw it today, but I didn't get to listen to it yet because, like I said, I was wrapping it up yesterday,
Yeah.
and then this morning had a few things I had to do, and then I had physical therapy today. So I definitely intend on checking it out in the next little bit before ETR, which starts in about 13 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say they're rolling from one show to another. Either way, awesome having you on. It's great. It's always great talking to you, man. It's nice to actually been able to
Yeah.
record a conversation for once. But guys,
I know.
yeah,
Thank you so much for
li-
asking me to do this.
oh, of course. It's like you were like as soon as I came up with this idea, it's like I have to get Josh on. It's like because I know we can bullshit about anything. It's like it'd be a lot of fun. Dakota will probably be on sometime soon. Just got to get with him. Just basically making the rounds, like picking people, and then
Yeah.
like just and if people decide they want to come on, that people are allowed, but nobody knows what it is as of yet. So I'm trying to make more of a name of it so people want to be like, fuck yeah, I want to come on and bullshit. Um,
Yeah.
but of course, guys, like, subscribe, t-shirts, Patreon, all the bullshit, everything in the description down below. And just stick around. I'm trying to do these way more often. And finding people who have the free time to actually sit down and bullshit for 4 fucking hours is the hard part
Yeah.
now. Because everybody has lives. Nobody has time to come play. It's all
Yeah.
good. But guys, we will catch you on the next one. Oh, and of course, remember the motto. You don't have to be a nerd for everything, but everyone is a nerd for something. And remember, as always, to keep on nerding and to keep on building, and let's keep building this community together. We'll see you guys later.
Take care.